How is everyone doing tonight? I do have a topic for tonight. Try to always have a topic. I will be doing my general Q&A thing that I do. Feel free to leave your questions in the chat. I will be getting through those at some point once I'm done going over my spiel. I'll try my best to keep up with the live chat as well in case there's anything relevant to cover as it comes up. See a couple people hanging out in chat already. Let's see. So I see Garen, Ponga, NP Pokemon, Cookie Cat. I have my credit card ready. People looking for some official sealed financial advice. So as always, this is the journey of one balding man on YouTube and his endeavors in his Pokemon business. I'm going to be sharing with you the way that I've navigated 151 Japanese thus far and the way that I intend to navigate it into the future. There's a lot of speculation out there. There's a lot of chatter out there. As always, there's always a lot of people talking. And I'm one of those people too. I'll give you my thoughts. I'll give you my speculation if you ask me a direct question like, hey, do you think it's done being reprinted? Do you think X? I mean, I know as little or as much as anyone else. We're kind of at the whim of what Pokemon Company decides to do. So I'm just working with the information that I have. I know how much it costs today, and I know how much I can sell it for today on eBay. So yeah, I've been buying. I mean, 151, we are several months into the set now. Still under a year. When was actually, let me look up just to be sure. Japanese 151 release date. So Japanese 151, actually, wow, June 16th. So just over a year now. News to me. I thought we were still under a year, but we are just over a year now. Historically speaking, in my mind, historically speaking, the thing that I always kind of default to is sets are in print, in rotation, whatever it may be, for approximately 2 years. If you want to be a little bit more cautious, maybe assume 3. There's always the exceptions out there, evolutions, things of that nature. Or sorry, not evolutions. Evolutions is the one I was thinking of. And then Roaring Skies had its thing, but I think that was under 2 years. But anyways, the way that I see this, at least another year, another solid year that the set is in print. When people talk about the prices crashing and this and that, that is just dramatic. That is just like over dramatized, I think. Absolutely, you could have a short printed set. You could have a set that only gets printed for 6 months, a year, and then doesn't get printed again. I mean, there is precedent for that. That's happened. But generally speaking, the vast majority of sets will be in print, accessible for 2 years. So when Japanese 151, I think I actually did sometime last summer. I did Japanese 151 for 151 a box. So back then it was 151, some point high 100s, 200 maybe on certain streaming platforms, whatever it may be. And just up until recently, up until a month or two ago, it was high 100s. I personally had no inventory left. I had 0 Japanese 151 booster boxes as of like 2 months ago. I mean, maybe I had 1 or 2 hiding. I actually got gifted one by Rusty. Shout out TCA Gaming from Charlotte last year. So I don't know if that might still be behind me somewhere, but I have at least 1 box somewhere. But other than that, to me, the market was way too high for too young of a set, so I sold. When something feels high to you, when something feels relative to like all the components of it, everything that you can see, when it feels high and the market's valuing it higher than you do, you sell. When the market is valuing it lower than you are, you buy. So as of 2 months ago, I had almost nothing. As of today, I have hundreds and hundreds of boxes. Last I've seen, I actually did a little bit of shopping on some various websites on which I cannot read the words. I won't spill any beans on what those sites are, but they're out there. So I bought some direct from Japan. I bought actually a couple sealed cases, kind of risking it for the biscuit a little bit there. I may or may not have had some discounted coupon offerings through various Japanese websites. But I've also been buying a lot through retrospecs. So I am someone who is not an expert in navigating all the Japanese websites, and I am someone who does not have contacts on like boots on the ground in Japan. So Retro is somebody who has more experience sourcing directly from these websites and has some boots on the ground as far as I understand, has some relationships with people. So feel free to reach out to Retrospecs on Instagram. That's who I've bought the vast majority of my 151 through. That's who I'll continue to buy the vast majority of my Japanese sealed product through. But I do dabble here and there. I mean, he's gonna make money when he sells to you. He makes some money when he sells to me. So obviously there's a way to like theoretically get it cheaper, more risk, all that stuff. Whereas he's taking on the risk for you if you're buying it through him. But so yeah, going back to what I was saying, how I'm navigating this. 2 months ago, too expensive. I sold it all. Maybe about a month ago, when I forget the exact timing, when 151 was talked about being reprinted. The reprints hadn't even happened yet. Maybe that was, I think they were talking about May reprints in April. So it was probably about 2 months ago that I started buying my first products. And I think we started buying almost $100 a box. So immediately, knowing that retail of a Japanese set, I'm going to look it up really quickly because I don't remember off the top of my head. 50,000 yen-ish, 5,000 yen, 5,500 yen maybe. So 5,500 yen to USD. Like, one thing you cannot lose sight of. We are buying a lot of these things at massively inflated prices to what MSRP and then wholesale are. So in the US side, I buy stuff wholesale from distributors for between 90 and 96, depending on the day, depending on the distributor, as long as it's not a reprint where they're just selling it to me for market. But I buy English 90 and 96 on retail that's like 160 something. So if say you take 95 over 160 something, I buy it for approximately 60% of retail. So it's not too much of a leap, but kind of more of a presumption than an assumption, because it's actually based on something tangible and realistic. So say that 60% of retail is what wholesale is in Japan as well. I don't know that for sure, but it's a reasonable presumption. So 0.6 times 5,500 yen, that's, so yeah, 5,500 yen, 3,300 yen. Let's do 3,300 yen to US dollars. Approximately, I could be off by a little bit here or there, maybe 20, 25% either way. But I think it's a lot closer than that. $20 to $21 is likely the wholesale cost of 151. There exists an amount of 151 that they could print that would drive 151 Japanese down to $30, $20 a box. I don't think they're going to. I actually was just making some shorts earlier through Opus off of a video I made like 3 months ago. And I said there's an amount of 151 that they could print that would bring it to $40 a box. I don't think they will, but they could. That number exists. Japanese 151, if you were paying close attention to Retro Stories, I think he was offering 50, low 50s maybe, shipped to your door. Through some of the Japanese websites, you could get it in the 40s. As of today, and I'm not calling like the bottom, I'm not calling a complete turnaround guaranteed by any means, but prices have ticked up a little bit. If you ask Retro, he's here in chat, I think. Yes, he is. I think Retro was selling 151 last week for slightly less than he's selling it for this week. That just means that he's paying slightly more this week than he was last week. Does that mean the bottom is in and we're only up from here? By no means. I don't know. Retro does not know. Nobody knows. Like, there's always risk here. It could go lower, but it could go a lot higher too. So part of the reason that Retro and I 2 months ago started buying at 100, and then we bought at 90, and then we bought at 80, then we bought at 70, 60, 50, into the 40s. Because we just don't know. Once we know, 2 years from now, 3 years, 5 years from now, once it's written in stone in history, it will have been obvious what the price was going to do. There will be YouTubers, I knew it was going to go to $48 on June 15th, and then I knew 1 year later, on June 15th, 2025, it was going to be $150, $350, $35 a box. Whatever it's going to be, it will have been obvious. But we don't know that. So what I've done, the way that I've navigated it, I bought maybe, and these are all going to be, they're things that I was actually doing, but I don't have all the numbers handy. I don't know exactly. So since the past 2 months, since all these reprint talks happened, I bought over 500 or 600 boxes of 151. And I've also sold over 100 boxes. So one thing that I'm confident in, I don't know the exact amount, but I know my cost basis in the remaining hundreds of boxes are higher than today's purchase price. So I'm underwater. I've lost money having bought several hundred and sold 100+ boxes. But what I've been doing is I bought those first ones at 100 and I was selling them on eBay for 120, 130. And then we bought more at 90 and we were selling them for 110, 115. The whole way down, we were dollar cost averaging our way down. And maybe if it drops quick enough, maybe there were certain boxes, maybe we bought 20 boxes at 80 and then overnight it was 60. So we were losing money. We didn't have the ability to make money on those. But one thing that I'll always do, one, I'll never be too stubborn to sell something at a loss. And two, it's not a loss, really, if you look at the grand picture of things. Say you have 100 boxes at $100 a box average cost. You've got $10,000 into that play, right? If they're selling at 50 today, well, you're losing $50 per box. Say you're netting 50 off the sale. You're losing $50, right? I mean, there's no way around that. First in, first out, you're losing $50. But if you're buying it back for 40, so sell one box, buy one back. You had $10,000 in with 100 boxes. You sold down and you bought one back. Now you only have $9,990 into your 100 boxes. So you sold one for way less than you paid, but you bought one back for even cheaper. So one thing that we've been navigating, one thing we've been doing to navigate this is, hey, this week we sold 50 boxes. Let's buy the 50 back, even though we sold 50 for less than we originally bought them and we were losing money. Not even just on paper. We were actually like, well, I was losing money. Retro was doing the work, our certain arrangement, the details. We don't need to get into all of it. But the fact that we were able to sell them at a loss and then replace them even cheaper, we kept the same amount of boxes. We either got more boxes for the same amount of money or we kept the same amount of boxes for less money. Either way, depending on how you actually looked at it. But let's see what we got going on in chat. Overall, and what I intend to do, so I did go shopping on Japanese websites today. On top of the few hundred, maybe 400 or 500 range of boxes I have with Retro for fulfillment on my eBay, I now have additionally buying through Retro wholesale fulfilled to me. I bought 100 boxes from him yesterday, I believe it was. And then on my own, on some of the Japanese websites, may or may not have been utilizing a coupon, a discount, I bought another 100-ish boxes, some amount of sealed cases. I'm mostly going loose boxes, so as far as I can tell as of today, I think it's like $10 per box, $8 to $10 per box premium to get a sealed case. And I like the sealed case. I like the idea of the sealed cases. Or English, when I buy English Modern, I try to mostly deal in sealed cases because it's there. And it's at a discount, if anything, not a premium. I like to buy the sealed cases at a discount or at par value, at just market value, and then sell them at a premium later. But if I have to pay 20%, 10, 20% premium up front, they're not as attractive. So the vast majority of what I have is loose boxes of Japanese 151. If or when the opportunity comes in the coming weeks, months, I will buy a lot more. I will buy a lot more sealed booster cases if they are available at a reasonable premium. What's a reasonable premium? 5% maybe. If the boxes are going for 40, I'd definitely pay an extra $2 to get a sealed case. Extra $25 case premium. Would I pay 50? So say the boxes were 40 a piece. Case would be 480 per loose boxes. Would I pay 530 if I could get 12 loose boxes for 480? Would I pay $530 for a sealed case? Probably. Would I buy some of both? Most likely. If I could though, if I was buying 1,200 boxes, 100 cases worth, and I could get, if it was the same thing either way, same price, obviously I would choose the cases. But it's almost never that. There's almost always, with the Japanese stuff lately, there's almost always some amount of a sealed case premium. So I just navigate it pending on what it is for that day. And yeah, that is my Japanese 151. That's my last 2 months. My coming days, weeks, months. So overall, I might have 30-ish thousand parked into this play. I'm actively selling. Not all of it, though. I put it out in chunks of maybe 20 to 50 boxes. And I'm actively replacing those as they sell. Like, I don't really want money out from it. But if I can lower my cost basis in it in one given week, like, I'll do that. So if a month from now, and nobody knows. I don't know. Retro does not know. Your favorite Pokemon YouTuber does not know. I recently made a clip of almost exactly what I'm saying right now that'll come up as a short. But nobody knows. But if in 1 month boxes went to the 40s, back to the low 50s, if they're 40, again, 40 flat, I'll buy 10, 20, 30 grand more. If they go down to 30, I'll put in that much more again. If they go to 20, I'll start getting a little worried, but I'll put in more. If I were to end up with 1,000 boxes or a couple thousand boxes of this, I would be comfortable with that. I am comfortable, bullish, optimistic on Pokemon, medium, long term. But realistically, there is a world where Japanese 151 goes to $40, $30, $25. I don't think it will. Where do I think the bottom will be? 40 sounds reasonable. It's somewhat of an educated guess based on me having been in the market for so long. But it could go any which way. This could be the bottom. The bottom could have been in a few days ago. But I don't know. You can watch all the analysis, all the different videos, and I watch a lot of them. I promise you, trust me. I watch a lot of the videos, and 6 months, a year, 5 years, I can't wait to hear about how everyone knew what it was going to do. But this is what I'm doing today with the information we have. This is me openly admitting that I don't know, and I'm telling you that nobody knows. So this is the way that I'm navigating it, the best way that I know how. I don't really, like, what would I prefer? So that's the next thing. As I'm buying these things, I'm kind of, it's like, well, if it's $100 by the end of the year, I will have wish I bought more. If it's $30 by the end of the year, I will have wish I sold everything today at the slight loss and then doubled down, went back in when it was 30. I don't know though. So what do I hope it does? I hope we get another month or two where it trickles a little bit lower. 1,000 boxes, monkey brain. I like the sound of it. I like the feel of it. If I can get to where I have a position of 1,000 boxes between what Retro has over at his place, fulfilling for me on eBay, and between what I have here long term, 1,000 boxes sounds good. If I can get to where I have 1,000 boxes at a $40-ish thousand cost basis, that just sounds really clean, really nice to me. Can that happen? Will that happen? I have no clue. As of today, I probably have around 500 boxes with an average cost of, if I had to guess, mid-high 50s. So I'm probably in for 500 boxes, around 30 grand, being like pessimistic. Close to 60 bucks a box. That's just where I am today. Give or take 100 boxes here or there. I don't know how many sold on eBay today. I'm rounding. I'm roughly estimating. But that's exactly, like, that's approximately, not exactly, I just said it's an estimation. That's approximately where I am today. And all these videos that will be made, this and that and the other thing, it's like, what are you actually doing? I hear you talking, but where are you walking? What is your position? What are you doing? And not everyone needs to share that. I appreciate that. I understand it. I'm not telling you, I'm not like gatekeeping. You can't make a video unless you disclaim everything you have. But I appreciate when the people that I'm watching give me transparency. So I just try to make the kind of content that I would like out of the people that I follow. So that's what I make. I make the content that I would like to consume too. Because I think it tells you a lot more. You listen to some random person on the internet tell you what they think will happen. A lot of those people have no skin in the game whatsoever. And knowing how much skin in the game they have feels relevant to me. I like to know where they're coming from. That's just my take. That's one guy, one dude on the internet. That's where I'm at. So that's my little rant to start. What are we at? 20 minutes. That feels like a decent start. I'm gonna start scrolling through the chat. I did not pay attention to live chat hardly at all. I said that I would do that, and I did not do that. But I will start going down through the questions. I appreciate everyone hanging out and being here. How's it going? E-Unit, Alice in Silverland, Quilly. We got L-Dubs grabbing cash. We got Sam with Chibi Collectibles. Evening, can you keep me occupied with Pokemon stuff on my 9-hour flight? So I can't promise you I will do 9 hours, but maybe I can do 2 or 3. We'll see. We'll see how things go. But congrats, Sam, on the big Art Academy pickups. It was a pleasure being a part of those transactions, helping facilitate some of those. It was great to see you again in Orlando. hope to see you in more Collecticons as we go on, and maybe other events too. I'm only doing Collecticon probably to round out this year. I'm not doing Worlds in Hawaii, but I'm sure long enough timeline I will get back to Worlds someday. I actually have, where'd they go? Here they are. I have in front of me my 2 Worlds badges. This collection is not complete. So I have 2018 Nashville and I have 2019 DC. This collection of Worlds badges is not complete. I will be adding more in the future, certainly. It's just a matter of where and when. 2024 Hawaii, 2023 London, they just didn't fit my schedule work for me. So lights are a nice touch. Appreciate it. How's it going, Skya? Had a nice little chat with Skya before I went live. Skya's crushing it there for me. Feel free to reach out to Skya if you're looking to sell any niche, maybe Yu-Gi-Oh, sell any collections, maybe consign some collections with him. He did great stuff for me with some very illiquid Vanguard and other TCGs. NP Pokemon says, perfect time to buy it up if you believe. So if you liked 151 back when it was 150 bucks, back when it was 180, 200 bucks, you should love it. You should love it at 50, 55, 60, right? I mean, fundamentally, it's... I have some here. I should have it visible, right? That would be the YouTuber thing to do, to show. This is my, so these were fulfilled by Retro. 3 boxes that were fulfilled by Retro that were returned to me. So the only 151 I have on hand today are these 3 boxes that were an eBay return. And then I also have the 1 box somewhere that Rusty gave me. It's probably behind, I think it's behind the Game Boy stuff or maybe the Deus Ex box or something. But anyways, let me put that here so it's here with covering Dooley up. The Dooley's investing in Japanese 151. But yeah, to me, fundamentally, it has changed to some extent because they've printed more, right? So fundamentally, it has changed. But the set hasn't changed. The fact that all the Kanto Pokemon are in one set hasn't changed. The supply going up, reprinting, does fundamentally change the fundamentals, if that makes sense. But overall, though, if you like Pokemon, if you like 151 and you're bullish on it 5-10 years, I think it's still a good buy. It's certainly, even in spite of having more, an unknown amount more product entering the market, to me at least, my opinion, it is a better buy today at 50. I don't feel like I'm taking a long leap here. I think everyone would agree with me. Today at 50, even though there's more of it, it is a better buy than it was 2 months ago, 3 months ago at 180. Obvious to say in hindsight. It's like, Dan, what are we talking about? That's pretty obvious. But appreciate you, Jackson. Yeah, I hit it with the $30 wall clippers this morning, actually. This morning. So very fresh. Can we review the comment section from your American Dream short? Maybe that'll be like a... Brad, remind me. If we get like 2 hours in and we're looking for something, bring us back there. Bring us back there. Can't believe this guy went live after getting smoked in the game show. So yeah, if anyone didn't see it, maybe if a mod could link it. Don't leave now to go watch it. But someone link Java Akuma's channel. Go link his game show that I did with Ponga. Ponga's already given us spoilers. Ponga did beat me, but I clawed my way back once we got to the market stuff. Well, once we got to the prices, the evil flipper, scalper, business, investor, Dan did come back once we got to the numbers of it. But Ponga destroyed me in all the Pokemon lore, all the video game type stuff. I got crushed. Leo Henry says, I'm noticing the market slowly shifting downwards again for all cards. Should we move some of our assets and stay light on inventory? It all depends on your personal situation. This is one of those questions that just cannot be answered. Personal finance is extremely personal. But, like, what am I doing? Overall, I'm trying to get a little bit more liquid. I am auctioning off, not for short term, I have no idea where the market will go. Long term, I'm more confident. Like, the longer time frame you go, whether it's Pokemon, and this is me comparing to stocks a little bit, whether it's Pokemon, whether it's the S&P 500, I'm more confident to some extent where it will be in 3 to 5 years than I am in 3 to 5 months a lot of times, because the short-term stuff is just so much harder. But I truly believe in Pokemon for the long term. I think it will outlive me. Hopefully I live a good, long, healthy life, 50 plus years, and I think Pokemon will outlive that. So, but like, yeah, if you don't have enough capital, like say Pokemon dips 30, 40, 50% across the board between now and the end of the year. Very bear case. I don't think that will happen. But if it did, it could. If it did, will you be out on the street? Will you be unable to, like, feed your family? Maybe lighten up on inventory. Do you have a lot of credit card debt? But if you're completely paying for this out of your pocket, if all your inventory is owned, and if you have 12 month emergency fund and you don't need to pull money out, like, very different situation. I'm not trying to like paper hand a bunch of stuff because I think everything's tanking. So very dependent though, very dependent. We're in for a I'm buying and selling 151 answer. This man is a walking clickbait. I think the insight though, I think the detail that I gave you, I hope was insightful, some kind of use, some kind of entertainment. Hey, Dan has 500 boxes of 151 at an average cost of almost $60. What a dummy. Like, I bought my 500 boxes last week for 48, 49, $50 a box. I'm crushing Dan right now. If that's your situation, then you are, and that's great. So how embarrassed are you after the size of that L you took from Panga the other day? If I didn't claw some back in the prices, I would have been very embarrassed. But I was proud of myself at the end to come back. Ignore everything in DCA and a little under market. That's what Jackson's doing. I'm on board with that. If you can, do you have a whatnot? Do you have an eBay Live? Do you have some way to like offload a little bit at a premium, buy some at a discount, and just actively? That's working though. That's working. Like, do you want to work to get it down? Or if your average cost basis is $100, $80, $70, you can just buy, like, without selling anything. You can just buy today and lower that down some, right? Like, if you truly believe in it for the long term. All reasonable, depending on your situation. Who says just listen to Panga, I guess. Brad's talking about, I do have a negative feedback I'm currently wearing. I have a call with my guy tomorrow, so hopefully I can get rid of that then. Fresh cut equals spicy Dan. We'll see where we go. How's it going, Retro? There's the Japanese booster box plug. Feel free to reach out to him. Retro Specs. There's an underscore somewhere in there. Retro, feel free to link your Instagram for anyone who wants to reach out for some Japanese boxes. I did just place my order with him though, so he's fulfilling mine, and then he'll get to yours. Mine's already taken care of though, I know. I think there's tracking. I don't check tracking, but I think tracking's out there somewhere in the ethos. We need green lights for this one. So NP Pokemon saying green light, buy. I could go green light. Let me see. Assuming you have the money, assuming it's not on credit cards, assuming all these assumptions, I am green lighting myself to buy Japanese 151. We're green lights, baby. Buy. That's me. Your personal situation, I don't know, but I'm buying. I'm buying and selling at a premium, but mostly buying. Panga said the bottom that he saw, I saw as low as 43 shipped, but it was only like 3 hours. How many did you buy in that 3 hours, Panga? Hopefully a lot. Hopefully 1,000. Fun fact, Dan stares at a picture of himself when he goes on these rants. I have a lot of tabs open right now. I'm here on my screen in this tiny little corner, so I do see myself. Over here, I see myself again, 5-second delay, with the live chat. There's the other live chat. I have Pokedata open. I have my 151 spreadsheet open. I have a lot of things open just in case we need them. But I do kind of see myself, though, too, so he's not wrong. This whole live needs to be shut down ASAP. Retro was on Spicy Boys TV Live only a couple hours ago, spilling all the beans, I'm sure. I didn't listen to it yet, but I did scroll through and saw Ernesto going into the meme folder live on YouTube. That is risky content. That is risky content. Been here for 30 seconds and I'm lost already. Basic, I know this was 16 minutes ago, but the lights are green, we're buying. The lights are green, we're buying. Way too much leakage here. Stop. This must be when I was talking about the websites that I can't read. I didn't say any names, not even once, but my most popular video on this channel is talking about how to buy from those Japanese websites I can't read. We do need another Cardboard Hands live. We need all the content. How's it going, Skater Nesto? Nice to see you. Buy at 100, sell at 50, buy back at 40. Did I get that right? Yes. Retro, what are you worrying about? Retro is panicking way too much. James is right here. It's okay, Retro. Nobody cares. Nobody cares at all. Nobody is going to do anything with this. If this live goes for another 5 minutes, then I'm going to leak the... So, listen to Retro. I'm spilling all the beans. It doesn't feel that revolutionary. But, apparently I'm spilling all the beans. Let's see. I heard if you spam message Retro, he gives you better prices. I hope he has a policy where the price goes up for every DM, every tracker checker. Let's see. $40, definitely not in the bottom now. Could go up, could go down. Yes. You're welcome for the insightful content. Remember when Dan would fight on anyone's channel that he was not an investor? Sickening that this man was just putting on a show. So I'm doing what I've been doing for the past 8 years. 10 years now. 2014. I'm doing just at a larger extent. I've caved in for the algorithm, for the just the general plus EV nature of using the word investment. I would still call it speculation, honestly. If you want to go down those deep, dark rabbit holes, 2 years ago on my channel, when I talk about investing, I talk about things that I will be holding for the next 50 years. Things that I'll likely never sell. I have things in my portfolio today that likely will be handed down, hopefully, 50 plus years from now. But they will be handed down to someone else, right? Those are not these. This is not, I did not go to an attorney, a lawyer, to write up a will, and I didn't mention these at all. I mentioned 401ks and IRAs and assets of that nature, but these things don't factor into, like, when I calculate my net worth, going back to that video I made a couple weeks ago where I showed Simplify, how I track my spending and all that. I don't have a tab that like, for my business, I keep track of all that, but like I don't really consider that into my actual long-term, and I don't consider my crypto into that. That's a separate bucket. That's a separate area mentally that I compartmentalize all that. Highly speculative stuff. So I keep track of it. I know what I have, but I consider, and it's semantics. Like, who cares? Go back to James, the NG Emporium. Who cares? But semantics are important oftentimes, so... When Dan doesn't know what he's doing, he makes himself feel better by saying he's navigating. I'm always just navigating. I never know what I'm doing. You think back, I've heard other people say this before, but 30 years ago, I was, what was I, 4 years old. You think, like, you look at all the adults in your life, and you think, like, they know what they're doing. They know what's going on. They've got all this figured out. And then 30 years later, you're the adult. You've got the kids looking up to you like you looked up to your parents. And you realize, like, people are just mostly winging it. People are just mostly winging it through life. Like, you get certain ideas. You feel like you got a good feel for how all things go. But for the most part, like, everyone's just kind of winging it. And absolutely, in all this speculative space, in the Pokemon investing, Pokemon forecasting space, like, it's so easy to look back and say how obvious it all was. But everyone is just navigating. Everyone is just guessing. The short, medium term is just so much guesswork. Like, unless you have insider info, and hey, if you work for Millennium Print Group, if you work for TPCI, if you work for any of these companies with inside information, like, my DMs are open. Feel free to reach out. I would love to have an inside connection so that I was less navigating and more just knowing. But unfortunately, I'm just navigating. Absolutely. And I'm not afraid to admit it. There's a lot of people out there that just navigate and act as if they know what's happening. And they don't at all. They don't at all. You heard it, everyone. Dan is going all in on 151. You also heard it when I say V-Star is way underpriced. Oh, and Retro's not going to like this, but... we have more than just 151. Like, I'm talking about one portion, one box of what we're doing. We're trying to set up a big wing in both of our businesses. So we have other offerings as well. I mean, go click the affiliate link below to my eBay. It's not going to be the cheapest price on the market, but it will be shipped free. It will be fulfilled from Washington in the United States. We're selling more than just 151, which means we're buying more than just 151. We do I won't say numbers because Retro won't like it, but it's a smaller number than we have in 151. But we have a bunch of V-Star. And I agree, overall, like, to me, we're buying V-Star, green light, buying V-Star. I think it's relative to a lot of other things in the hobby as of right now, V-Star feels cheap, 151 feels cheap. But what is your opportunity cost? Where are you at? Don't make me pull up the don't make me pull up this. If we're talking about investing in 151 and we haven't taken our employer match and we still have credit card debt and this and that, that's an entirely different conversation. I'm greenlighting it because I'm over here. Like, if you're in Purple Bucket Gang, green light. Green light. That's what I'm saying. Appreciate the stop sign emoji, which makes it easier to find stuff. It seems that market price movements up and down for both sealed and raw continue to accelerate with every month. Does this affect TCPI reprint strategy? How do you see the two interplay? I don't know. Like, to some extent, Pokemon is definitely paying attention to the secondary market, but they will let certain things go. I've said this before, and I'll continue saying it. But it seems like Pokemon will intentionally, at times, let certain sets just run and run and run. Like, Evolving Skies is within the 2-year reprint window, right? When was Evolving Skies? Eevee Heroes applies too. Let's look up Eevee Heroes, because it was earlier, because it is Japanese. So, Eevee Heroes release date. And they are reprinting a lot of, at least on the English side, Evolving Skies. They're putting it into a lot of products. So, Eevee Heroes is just outside that 2-year window now. May 28th, 2021. I believe Evolving Skies was like September. So they are at the borderline of the 2-year window. When they were 600, when they were 500, 400, 300, Pokemon saw that. Pokemon knew that. They could have released tons of Evolving Skies booster boxes. All the distributors would have gobbled it up. All the people who have wholesale, direct wholesale, would have gobbled it up. It would have instantly been sold. They would have just been printing money. But I think it's more profitable for Pokemon from time to time to let an Evolving Skies happen, to let a team up happen, to let those things happen so that people go deeper on future sets thinking, what if this is the next evolutions, the next Evolving Skies? I still got to make my case study video on evolutions and Evolving Skies. But I think that Pokemon intentionally, at least one set per block. Ultra Prism, I believe, was one of them when the Sun and Moon era too. I think they intentionally make sure one set per block just stonks out of its mind so that everyone wonders, like, oh, I'm going to buy a little bit more Twilight Masquerade just in case. Like, I think even though they're leaving money on the table, not printing more Evolving Skies Eevee Heroes over the past year in booster box form, I think the long-term game, though, it's more rewarding. So Pokemon is smart. I think they're navigating it all extremely well. That's just my guess, though. That's one random guy's guess. Dan, I heard there's a last wave at the end of the month. Please confirm or deny with your crystal ball. Unfortunately, the crystal ball is not working properly right now. I've heard things too, but like I have no idea. That's just someone navigating. 1,000 boxes, disgusting. It's for children. Oh, I'll sell to their parents. So feel free to buy from me, parents. Click the affiliate link below. I will absolutely sell to anyone, children included. V-Star mid, Pong Pong. I like V-Star a lot. V-Star is a great set as well. I don't think this is a fade. This is a 2 all around. This is a maybe including the beard. It's a 2 and a 3. That's all it is. $30 clippers that I bought back in college. Very, very cheap haircuts over the past decade and a half, 2 decades. I don't know, but I don't think this is a fade. It's just a 2 and a 3. It's going to take him 2 hours to catch up to the chat unless he just skips it all. I've got to start skipping all the Brad G comments. Brad, why does the angry man rant? I'm not doing any better. When Dan ignores chat, it means he's nervous and on coat mode. See, Walrus is forcing me to put a comment like that up so that I don't get don't get clipped in. And he's Walrus is gonna make a react content video where he says Dan would never put my comments on screen. The more earnest Dan gets, the more unhinged chat gets. Would PWCC take 1,151 boxes all at once? Hopefully, we'll find out. I was just talking to Pokemartin yesterday. Pokemartin's doing fine. Art academies are mids. It's like they're drawn by children. Sam talking about his art academies. taking offense to Walrus's comment. Dan, my PC is worth about 40K, but I drive a car worth 4K that is paid off. Am I dust? Hey, as far as utility goes, maybe you won't score the points with whoever theoretically you might want to score points with. But as long as the car gets you from A to B, I'm not a big car guy. Like, the utility of it, that's all. And as long as that 4K car is providing the utility, I think you're better off. Because car, even though it is a tool, like, as long as it functions for its utility, it's a depreciating asset. Unless you are talking about the top 10, like, there are probably investment grade cars out there. Certain very limited releases. There's the whole modern versus vintage debate we have in Pokemon. I'm not in the car space, but I guarantee you it happens in the car space. All these less than 5-year-old limited release like Mustang GTs and whatever. There's probably classic car guys that have their whatever cars they have, salty about how these modern cars are selling for more than their vintage cars are. Like, I guarantee you that stuff goes on. But yeah, cars, they're gonna go down over time. Your Pokemon, some of it could go down. If you're buying reasonable stuff, a lot of it historically has gone up. I'm bullish. A lot of it will continue to go up if you have the good stuff, the right stuff. Sam's on the fence for New Jersey. If not, we'll definitely be at Chicago. Looking forward to seeing you there. How much am I selling the 151 boxes for? So you don't want to buy the 151 from me, to be honest. I know my average eBay buyer is not watching this live stream, especially 41 minutes in. But when we were buying the boxes in the low 50s, or as we're buying the boxes in the low 50s, I think my eBay listing's at $79.99 right now. And it sold today. I think yesterday, we sold out of some amount at $69.99. So I'm like 20 or 30 bucks a box above what you can get it. But that's no risk. That's buying from Catch 'em All Collectibles with eBay buyer protection, credit card protection, PayPal protection, whatever. So that's a no risk transaction on eBay from a US seller versus navigating all the very scary, scammy, potentially having issues Japanese websites. I might do the comment review later, but yeah, the comments were really good on that. Oh, this is not alcohol either. So this is I'm relatively nearby the Beacon Skiff apple orchards. This is literally just Honeycrisp apple cider. It's been in our fridge for months and months, and my wife hasn't drank it, so I'm like, I'm gonna drink this now. Yeah, this is non-alcoholic. Let's see. Pong approved Dan is actually a fake fan. Oh man. Sealed is good. A lot of it is. Garen says, funds have been tight. Lost Origin and Brilliant Stars cases took my extra cash. I've been attempting to sell what I can to keep grading. Is Japanese 151 that good of a play that I should just jump in? Or if I sit on the sideline, I will regret it. The issue is, and Jackson says right here, the key is to have enough cash flow to never sell anything as a business. I think, honestly, like, people that were buying, and I bought a little bit myself. So I bought a little bit myself, very small amounts. Full MSRP when TCG Player was above market, above MSRP, and Pokemon Center was less. I was buying a few cases here and there. But if you're buying full MSRP booster boxes, I don't care if it's 10-15% under market. 10-15% under market doesn't give you enough space to actually action that and to actually sell it. Like, maybe you can sell it and break even, but that's about it. I think those were kind of a trap. I think people that were buying those boxes from the Pokemon Center at full retail plus tax, that was a trap. If you are starving in your cash flow to make plays, like, some people don't have the time to make plays, and so they were buying at retail from Pokemon Center, and they're not losing out on, like, playmaking capital because they don't have the time to make the plays anyways. But if you have time to make plays and you don't have capital to make plays, and you got full retail Pokemon Center booster cases behind you, Like that was a trap, because absolutely you should not be buying a lot of this stuff. Like when you know that you can just buy, sell, make money, rinse, repeat, you have to allocate yourself some amount of money that you just don't touch. Like what? And for some people that might be 20 grand. For some people that might be $200. For some people that might be $200,000. Like I don't know your situation. So you always need to allocate yourself the appropriate amount of money for just the flips, and make like, if you get in your inbox, in your DMs, if you see a post on Verbank, wherever you buy from, if you can't buy a 10K collection that you can just know you can flip and make 5K, 10K within a month or 2 months, those things are always out there. Always out there. If you're passing on those because you've got money tied up in cases behind you that you're investing in, like, that's just, that's missing it, I think. To me, that's a big miss. So I would personally say stop investing if the investing is limiting your ability and you have the time and the desire. If you don't have the time or the desire to flip, tie up whatever the hell you want. Like, to me, I won't turn this video into that, but like, I went through that whole video where and when I invest in Pokemon, and I don't do it over here. There's people doing it over here that I think is a little bit, just quick for everyone that didn't watch that video, very quickly. Personal income spending flowchart, where I am, is like all my tax buckets filled, no debt whatsoever, no student loans, no mortgage, no credit card debt, obviously, employer match, all that stuff taken, IRAs, 401ks maxed out. So I'm over here. My opportunity cost is very low. Like, my opportunity cost would be, well, I could put money in treasuries and make 4 to 5% guaranteed, but there are certain people out here, not only are they tying up money that they could flip and make like quick gains, they could quick flip gains, but they can't because they have money tied up in investments. Some of those investments are on 30% credit cards. Some of them aren't taking the full 100% match their employer gives them, up to 5%, 6%. So it's like, I can't answer the question for anyone. I can just tell you how I think about it, how I navigate it for myself, and that's all I can do. So that's all this whole channel is. My friend is in Japan right now, and he's getting Japanese 151 for 30 per box. I mean, that's retail. So what I'm hearing there, like, I could be wrong, but I would think market in Japan even is above that. There are absolutely going to be certain game stores that will sell, like, even we have that in the US. Some amount of people, even if market is higher, like when I was selling my Battle Styles boxes, when they came out for 150 a box for 900 a case, which I guess that is. I guess that was MSRP at the time. I was going to say that I was the evil person selling for full market, whereas some people were selling for MSRP. But funny enough, that is about what MSRP was. But yeah, some amount of people are probably getting $30 boxes, one-off through Sneaker Dunk, one-off through certain coupons, certain credits. Like, that's not actionable. And usually, like, if we're talking investing, we might be talking dozens of boxes, hundreds of boxes, maybe thousands of boxes. I don't know. Everyone's scale is different. But for me, when I start talking about investing, I'm talking hundreds of boxes at least. And generally, one thing that happens is, as you want more, the price goes up. Like, I might be able to find a one-off, a two-off here or there with a coupon, TikTok, wherever, 30, 35, 40 bucks. But if you want to buy 100, the price is going to be higher, the per unit price. A lot of people think, oh, I'm buying in bulk, I want to get 20% off. You're going to pay 20% premium to get that many boxes. Dan, I have 400 in my checking and no access to wife's account. Is it time to sell my third copy of Jungle Scyther PSA 8? Yes, sell. I'm going to end there. These stores are limiting 1 box per day per customer in Japan. So yeah, right there. It's like, those things are very one-off. Those things are very, like, fringe cases, not going to be actionable in large amounts by large amounts of people. I bought 0 at that price because I have 50K in debt. We're not going to see the 151 spreadsheet because I'm not going to show everything. And a lot of it has, I mean, Retro is the one doing the buying. So some of it has just too much information to show on YouTube. Ponga's spilling what the website is. Jackson says, should I do an experiment where I take on 20K of credit card debt and balance transfer it between 0% APR cards for 5 years and then sell it year 6? That'd be interesting. It would be good content. I would follow along if you did that. How's it going, Old Skool Pokemon? I don't know how he's not live on eBay right now, but he's here. Rudy method, the low-key only method. I'm not skipping a lot of comments at all. If I scroll through, most of them are highlighted. I'm putting up a lot of memes. I'm skipping some. What up, Nick? Dan will notice you're here in about 45 minutes. It only took 18. I'm not doing too bad. Damn, Dan's kids won't get his 151. Disaster. They will get some stuff for sure. I'm quite certain there will be some stuff around, but hopefully not too much, to be honest. Like, the amount of Stein collections that I bought from someone who inherited them, that did not want them. It's kind of sad. Kind of a sad process to go through. Some amount of the people thinking it was worth way more than they... it was worth way less than they thought it was worth. Oh, Dad used to buy these, and he was talking about how much they were all worth and this and that. And I was buying them for a fair price, but like significantly less than they thought. Or people just like, I just want them gone. I don't care about him at all. He hoarded them, and I'm not glad that he's gone, but I'm glad to get rid of all stuff. Like, I don't want my kids to inherit work. I want my kids to inherit actual assets that throw off dividends and that throw off passive income. These things do not throw off passive income. To me, what the definition of, like, to me, what investments are. Semantics, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about what Google says for the definition, Investopedia. To me, an investment is something I'm holding for 50 years, passive, and it's an asset that generates cash flows. It's not an item that requires not non-fungible, that requires being sold, that requires work. Obviously, you need to sell stocks and stuff too, but click a couple buttons and it's done. And all the reporting gets done, and it gets digitized on not a 1099, but it gets digitized on the proper forms that you submit and file your taxes easily. Oh, wow, Nixon, Dallas area, and he didn't even hit up Brad ahead of time. Yeah, he didn't even hit up Brad ahead of time. Not a very good friend, Nick. Come on, man. For the most part, people are very dumb and have to wing it. See, I'm not winging it on the tax advice and the financial advice. That's not me winging it. Like, I know, well, over the long term, what gets the best results. Like, spend less than you earn, invest the rest. That is financial advice. That is not winging it. That is concrete. I'm confident in saying that. Hashtag, this is financial advice. Spend less than you earn, invest the rest. Ernesto's in complete control, no winging it here. Oh, man. Oh, Nick's 4 hours away from basic, so a little... Hey, I don't think... I could be wrong here, but insider trading, there's no SEC in this space. It is a unregulated market, and if you think that stuff doesn't go on, whew, have I got news for you. Absolutely. When companies are making major changes, when things are being reprinted, someone knows all that stuff. Like, maybe I'm the only one out of the loop. I don't know who it is, but there's definitely a lot of insider info being acted on in this space. It's funny, Mr. Walrus, because I bought that and I had to get refunded for that because it was not a legitimate listing. It was a scam listing. Oh, man. Dan, stop yelling at us with the rainbow graphic. Oh, man. Hey, every other week I'm here. Every other week I'm on PokeFlips. Evolving Skies reprint would be Pokemon's 2008. Oh, man. Every time I hear Evolving Skies, I lose 1 HP. He's down a few more HP. Pokemon says they're strictly for the players first, but they know what they're doing with reprints. I'm not saying this in a negative way. Some people would hear this in a negative way. Other people would say this in a negative way. Pokemon is for their bottom line, as any business should be. Like, within their moral scope, within, like, laws and all that stuff. But they should be for their bottom line. Like, when eBay closed the vault, when PSA bought the vault, I didn't really like it, but I understood it. Like, I understood that it's for their bottom line. It didn't make sense. It was too good to be true. When Troll and Toad kicked me off, I didn't like it, but it made sense. It was the right decision for their bottom line. Like, they're there. I'm sure that they, all these companies have all this, like, we're for the environment. We're for this cause, that cause. No, they're not. They're for those things to the extent that it helps their pocketbook. Like, absolutely, there are individuals within the space, like absolutely there are people involved in the the companies that have certain desires that help certain causes and yada yada. But, like, you can only donate to those causes if you're making money. So number one is the bottom line, making money for the business. Number 2, 3, 4, 5, 50, those are the other things. Like, bottom line is always number one. I see some comments getting deleted in here. Let's see. We don't need to moderate too heavily. Like, if 86,000 seconds, you sent them away. I know, I like Pokemon cards. Feel free to DM me. I don't know what we got going on here, but if Brad's saying you took something too far, like, I see the deleted comment. Let me see. Talking about me marrying for money. Like, what are we talking about? Oh God. Yeah, he's wilding a little bit, but I guess Pokemon cards, like, feel free to come back next week, 2 weeks from now if you want to. I don't understand being here. If you hate me, hate what I say, like, life is too short. Go somewhere that brings you joy, and you can go somewhere that brings you positivity, that you can bring positivity to. I'm not a perfect person. I have absolutely engaged in some things online and offline that I should not have. I've actually absolutely brought negativity into the universe, and I probably will do it more in the future. But, like, I don't know what I said or did. But you're welcome to come back. But I guess I do have some wrenches in here that will throw the wrench around. I didn't see it happen live, but I do see it in the back end here. I don't understand what I was saying though, where he said that. Anyways, let's see. I need to scroll way back up. So I am currently 20 minutes behind still. I've been stuck 20 minutes behind. Frugal Dan rant in 3, 2, 1. I've probably had a couple of those, yes. Dan was dropped on his head at the age of 33. Oh, man. I've known Dan a few years, and he said he doesn't buy new cars. He's bought 2 in the last 2 years. Don't listen. If you had talked to me 5 years ago, I probably would have said I'd never buy a used car, but the pandemic changed so much fundamentally about the used car market. Like, I always thought I would have been someone to buy 2, 3-year-old vehicles with 20, 30,000 miles on it, but I literally just bought a Kia Carnival. I just bought a Kia Carnival. Brand new, all in out the door. It was like 43 grand. If I had bought a 2 or 3-year-old one with 30, 40,000 miles on it, it was like 36 out the door. So in my mind, the way that I look at it, I guess I talked about earlier the way I navigate 151 purchases. The way I navigate a new car purchase. So I did not buy it, but I was involved in the purchase when my wife bought her first car. Well, no, not her first car, but her first car when we were, like, together. She bought a 2014 Malibu, drove it for 10 years. 10 years, put 100,000 miles on it. She bought that in 2014 for like low mid 20s. In my mind, in her mind, like, whatever, 10 years, sell it, assume it's worth nothing. It was worth a few grand. We'll get a few grand out of it, but assume it's worth nothing. So in my mind, I'm doing the math. You're going to have some amount of maintenance, some amount of work on it over those 10 years. But first few years, you have no maintenance whatsoever. So in my mind, you take that car, say it was 25 grand, 2,500 bucks a year per year for 10 years. Okay, that's what the car costs to drive. When I bought the Kia Sportage, it's like, okay, I'm spending low 30s, maybe 33. I'm gonna spend 3,300 bucks a year for the next 10 years to drive this car. A little bit of maintenance, brake pad, like tires, things like that. Absolutely, you got to add that in. But the first few years, you're not doing any maintenance. The tail end, you're doing more. So when I buy a brand new Kia Carnival for 43, I'm paying maybe a $7,000, $8,000 premium for 2 years. 2 years where I know I'm full warranty. I'm gonna have no brakes, no rotors, no wheel bearings, no things of that nature, because none of that's gonna be ready within 2-3 years, and the bumper to bumper warranty is 3 years, 36. So when I do the math, I buy a $43,000 car. That's $4,300 a year for the next 10 years, assuming it's worth nothing at the end. I just give it away, buy a new car, whatever. So I'm paying the same $4,300 per year for the first 2 years, where the car is brand new, has the full warranty, is going to need no maintenance. So in my mind, brand new for 43 versus 2 years old for 35, 36, it's a no-brainer. At least, like, and then my financials today are better than I would have thought they were if I looked back 5 years ago. So yeah, to me, like, the world has changed in a lot of ways. My finances have changed in a lot of ways that I wouldn't have expected to. So I've changed vastly on my whole thought around buying new cars. But there can be times. And say we get to a future. If we get to a future 10 years from now where next time I'm going to buy a minivan or whatever I buy, if a new one is 43 and a 2-year-old one with 20,000 miles, 30,000 miles is like 25 grand, and I'm paying a $9,000 a year premium to get that new car, I'm going to be buying 2-year-old used cars. But like today, where the math is, how the numbers work, just like in Pokemon, I navigate the market. Like I don't know what the market's going to be like, but I'm transacting in the market that I'm in the best way that I know how. So that's the insight into Dan's brain on how and why he bought 2 new cars in the past 2 years. My wife is due for our second kid in August, and we have decided to buy a minivan. Do you have any van recommendations you could give me for my family planning needs? I'm a huge fan of Kia for whatever reason. Like 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. You can't beat that. I like the looks of them. I like test driving them. I test drove the Ford, the Toyota, the Honda. I test drove like the Chevy. All these different manufacturers, minivan equivalents and SUV equivalents. But to me, it's not number one on any of the charts. It's top 5 on most of them, and the price is reasonable relative to the other offerings out there. So it's like, to me, it was just the best value. I deemed it the best value, but everyone's got their own needs and desires and this and that. But like to me, Kia Carnival 8-seater, that was the play. That was the play. Let's see where we're at. Dan really goes live every 2 weeks just to judge people's pockets. Brad really goes live. Brad really goes into my live every 2 weeks just to be my #1 fan and keep the comments flowing. I appreciate it, Brad. Thank you. Student loans, never pay those off, baby. Brad's in the first box before step 1. I have same amount in PC as I do credit card debt. Is it bad? It isn't bad or good. It just is, right? Who cares? Carrying cost of 30%. Cookie Chef student loans got erased. Wait long enough for other people to pay it off. Pokemage is doing reverse mortgages for 151 sealed. Brad's saying to step it up. He's saying your credit card debt isn't high enough. Dan's finance channel's first and last video, the secret to my financial success, and it'll just be an hour-long video of a picture of his wife. I mean, I think this is where, so Mr. Walrus was trying to be, he was trying to be innocent, and I know this one is innocent. Mr. Walrus playing into the meme. You were part of the cause, so people read the memes and people run with it, and Brokemon Cards took this to the next level. So you were being innocent, and it was run with. But yeah, I am fully, like, this is a Q&A. Ask me any question. I know somebody asked me to put the 151 spreadsheet on the screen. That's not all my information to share, so I'm not going to share what is partially Retro's information. That's part of it. But I'm not ashamed. I'm not embarrassed of my situation whatsoever. The whole Sugar Mama thing is a really funny meme. But, like, fundamentally, that is a huge part of why I'm able to do this full time. If I were a bachelor, if I were working my job the way that I was, the same way, all else equal, but I didn't have a wife that had the job she had and the good benefits and the secure job, I don't know if I would be full-time. I genuinely have no idea. I didn't live in that reality. I don't live in that reality, thankfully. So I'll never know. That's an alternate universe. I glad I didn't have to explore. But yeah, like it's a common thing in the hobby that there is a spouse that has the 9 to 5, the stable thing that allows the person on screen or the person behind the business to be more risky. Like we are a partnership. We are a duo. We have one bank account for personal stuff. We have the business bank account. It is a massive part of my thing. Like it is a massive part of my whole thing. And I will talk about any part of that. Let's see. Dang, where are these 5 to 10K plays that I can make 50% profit in 30 to 45 days? There are people doing that in bulk. So like, I'm assuming you're saying that in a sarcastic fashion, as if those things aren't out there. I promise you those things are out there. Like, there are people, like, whether it's buying bulk, whether it's buying stuff, grading it, and selling it, there are people making 50% on $10,000 buys in 30 to 45 days. But it's a lot of work. It's active work. Like, I'm not saying completely passive investment returns of 50% in 30 to 45 days. But it gets difficult. Like, Warren Buffett will tell you, it's way easier to make 50% in a month or 2 months on 5K than it is on 5 billion. He can't do that. No one can do that on 5 billion. Thankfully, none of us have that problem. None of us have 5 billion and none of us have to worry about that. But as you scale, as you get bigger, like, making those big returns is so much harder. Like, anyone can go to a Collecticon. Anyone can go to a convention. And in minutes, they can make a 50% return on $10. Anyone can do that. Like, go find a mispriced single at one vendor and sell it to another vendor. I've had people do it on me, buying my stuff, selling to me, whatever. 500 is harder than that. 5,000 is harder than that, but it's way easier than 50,000, 100, 500,000. That happens all the time. Let's see. Dan's headphones make him look like he has gauge earrings. My earbud? I don't have the fancy I don't have the fancy, I can't even think Apple AirPods. I couldn't even think of what they were called. I've got some cheap Amazon Bluetooth thing. Tozo, I think they're called. I'm gonna try to get caught up with chat. Let's see. Can we get a homie hand raise for Chicago attendance? Might fly out to see the homies. I'm gonna be there. I think there are quite a few people. I will pull up the spreadsheet really quickly. I don't remember what the head count was. I'm not gonna rattle off like 40 names, but I think for Chicago, we had let's see. We have 36, but I think it's adding wrong because, yeah, someone wrote 2 to 3. So it's more like 40 tables. I think we're going to have 4 or 5 sections for Chicago. So Chicago's going to be a big one. It's going to be a big one this year. Ernesto's always jumping. Ernesto, it's a choose your own adventure. Ernesto's choosing to jump. Man goes live. Man vended. Okay, Ernesto, I'm going to rant on you right now a little bit. You're going to get ranted on a little bit because you're jumping in chat. Oh, disagree. Okay. Disagree. Life too long. It's taking forever. Don't jump. Don't jump if you're making a joke about that, please. I thought you were talking about the live chat. Anyways, though, I asked for a vendor POV. Like all the spicy boys, all the people going to the thing. Did we get one vendor POV? I know we got one out of Johto Giraffe. Go check that out if you haven't watched that yet. But he goes live on the. We did get a live stream, drive stream. I am happy about the live stream, drive stream. But how do we have 10, 12 spicy boys vend a convention, and we get no Spicy Boys TV actual vendor POV video? We get a vendor POV titled live stream, drive stream, and then we get a leak stream leaking all the Discord memes called vendor POV for some reason. I don't know. I'm gonna jump when I tune into Spicy Boys TV and I don't see a vendor POV video. Let's see. 43k Kias, that is darkness. Oh man. Yeah, I was looking, so Kia specific. The Telluride was the same price as the Carnival, and the Telluride is like the mid-size SUV. It's not the biggest one. It's not like the I forget what the biggest one is. But it's the same price as the Kia Carnival. So the lowest trim, the lower trim of the Telluride is the same MSRP as the Carnival, and the Carnival's bigger. Like the Carnival's just bigger, better in every way, except for the fact that some people just don't like minivans. Like I don't get it. I buy cars for the utility. Today's vans do have so many luxuries. It's pretty wild. Yeah, the pandemic, I don't know if it's changed for good, like the whole new normal conversation. I don't know if this is the new normal for the car market, but since the pandemic, the car market is fundamentally different. Will it go back? Like, I have no idea, but I'm just navigating it in the time, like, just like Pokemon, I'm just navigating it. I have no idea where it will be in 5 or 10 years. I'm just looking at the market for what it is and doing what I think is best. How many new Kias am I putting away for long term? Yeah, I mean, these are a clear investment. I'm buying with the intent to resell them in 10 years for more money, based on, like, nothing has ever done that. No car has ever done that. At least no Kia car, I don't believe. But I'm buying them with the intent to resell them for more money. I'm investing in these Kias. I've driven a lot of cars over the years, but last couple cars have been Kias. I mean, I've driven Pontiac, Dodge, Chevy, Ford. I've driven. I've never driven. I've driven a lot of different things. I can't say everything, but I've driven a lot of different things. Rudy said Evolving Skies to what, 3 or 4K in his video today. I did not watch his video yet, but that's crazy. Everyone with kids, sell your vans and SUVs at 70%. Buy a lemon. Strap your kids on the roof. Now you have more capital for Pokemon. Oh man, we're really losing it here. Come on, it's a Q&A. Guide me in a good direction. What are your favorite cuts of meat to make that can be done without a grill? Any of them can be done without a grill. I mean, some people are grill gang 100%. Some people are cast iron pan 100%. I've used both. I'm gonna sit on the fence on this one. I think you can make a great steak either way. To me, a ribeye is like the ultimate steak. Picanha is right up there as well. So I will do picanha or ribeyes, and I will do them on a grill or in a skillet. Reverse sear is my method of choice. Do them low and slow in an oven or whatever with a thermometer in it. Do them 5-10 degrees before your desired doneness. Take them out, slap them in that skillet that's ripping hot. Boom, boom, flip them, get that good sear. Bring it up to a nice medium rare for me. That's the process for me. I would love to talk with Sean sometime. I would really enjoy it. I don't know if I have the space to have Sean on. The live chat atmosphere that I've cultivated in my 3+ years on YouTube just is not. I see him more as like a professional in this space. Like when I have Mr. Walrus on, when I have Brad on, when I have Ernesto on, when I have Thrifty on, things like that. Like one of the homies, I don't feel as in need of having a more professional space. But for whatever reason, like if I were to have someone like him on, I would just be yeah. I don't think it would work well. I don't know. Um Ponga would be in a ditch dead without his wife for sure, plus EV. Sugar mamas are underrated. Any partner that lets us pursue shiny cardboard business is an absolute hero. Absolutely. I'm getting close to being caught up in chat. So if you have any questions, maybe steer us back into Pokemon, buying and selling, investing, speculating. But I will, whatever. MetaZoo will be back better than ever soon. Oh, man. First Walrus, now Ernesto. Dan going after everyone tonight. I'm going to give Brad a break tonight. He was 2 weeks ago. Cast Iron the GOAT. I think we're caught up. Reverse Seer all day. Dan, what's your thought on Deadman All-Stars so far? I'm loving it. I'm loving the content. Solo mission snakes all the way. Dino Nuggets, watch out for them. They've got a lot of the Deadman weapons in their storage boxes. Gotta watch out for those VLSs, those Zuriel staffs. I'm a little bit nervous for the Dino Nuggets, but I think the solo mission team is gonna take it home. Dan, do you blame your chat for never going viral? Is that why you didn't get the card party invite? I fully know my lane. I'm riding in my antiviral lane. I know it's me. I'm not blaming the chat whatsoever. Cast iron, then make a Diane sauce with the pans. PokeChef doesn't do reverse sear. Legit question. I've got 4 Japanese 151 boxes coming in for 50 each. Would you rip and try to grade sell the hits, master balls, or just hold the boxes? I do not think you rip. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but if you did an EV calculation, I would assume opening 151 is negative EV. You're probably better off just buying the singles and grading. Like and there are times where the opening the boxes might be plus EV, but buying the singles might be even higher EV. Like I don't know the numbers. I'm not gonna do that math, but do the math and see. I just highly doubt, especially with only a sample size. Like, even if it was plus EV, with only 4 boxes, you might get lucky. You might hit that Pikachu Master Ball, pay for it all. But if it were plus EV, ideally, the more you open, the better. Because then you subject yourself. You take out the risk, you take out the gamble of it. If you open, I mean, getting extreme, if you open 1,000 boxes, you're expected to have roughly 6-7 of every reverse, every Master Ball. So you're going to be less leaving it up to luck. You're just gambling if you open 4 boxes, in my opinion. Initial thoughts on July 17th as a day. July 17th will be a great day. July 17th, I will be seeing some cool people. Seeing a cool person, I guess. July 17th, I will be seeing Ponga, actually. I'm gonna go public. I'm gonna spill the beans. So I'm looking at June. Yeah, so July 17th, I'm going to be picking up Ponga. We're going to be hanging out. And then July 18th, he's going to be riding down to New Jersey. I'm going to be dropping him off at Beerski's. He's going to be checking out the minivan. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to New Jersey Collecticon weekend. I'm not going to be there for the convention the whole time. I'm going to be in the area for my family vacation we're going on for that weekend. But we're doing a lot of stuff in the area of the convention hotel. So I actually booked a convention hotel. I'm going to be there Thursday to Monday. And we will be going to the convention likely on Sunday, pending weather. If the weather's going to be terrible, certain things we're doing are going to be outside. So if the weather's terrible Saturday and going to be good Sunday, we might actually do the convention Saturday. I'm not entirely sure. That could prove problematic because I actually only bought single day passes for Sunday. But I guess we'll see how that happens. Let's see. Dan, are you still maybe planning on PK or Thrifty doing eBay lives on your behalf? Absolutely. Like, unfortunately, I have no insight as to the time frame of when eBay is going to get their stuff together, get eBay Live out of beta. As of right now, eBay Live is in beta, and I just can't really do that. The arrangement I have with Retro is he's utilizing multi-user account access, and he's logging in to fulfill orders from my eBay account, but he doesn't have access to all of it. Not that I don't trust Retro, not that I wouldn't trust PK or Thrifty, but when I have consignor cards on my eBay, I can't just hand out my eBay login and password. So I cannot utilize eBay Live in that fashion on my account until I get eBay Live out of beta, or maybe within beta they'll open it up to multi-user account access. But yeah, so it could be a year from now. It could be never. Like, who knows? I mean, the way that this market is, I had long-term plans for eBay Vault and that went away. Is Whatnot going to buy eBay Live? Is eBay Live going to buy Whatnot? Is all this stuff going to fundamentally change? I have no clue. I'm just navigating. I have a bunch of those evolution boxes. Not crazy, but like I have several cases of them. Then are you going heavy on SV8? Sounds like it's confirmed. It's the English Dragon set. I have whatever allocation I get, I'll take it all. I've been pretty much taking all my allocation for everything that I want. I think my allocations are going to slowly drift down. I used to take more of the battle decks. I used to take more of the ancillary stuff. I'm mostly done with that. It's a space thing primarily. So I'm likely to not get as much of an allocation moving ahead on certain things. Well, potentially. Like if I'm still taking 120, 160, 180 booster boxes and ETBs. Like booster boxes and ETBs are pretty much all I want. I know specialty sets though won't have booster boxes, so I'll go deeper. I still do collection boxes. I still do several cases of each of those, but primarily I'm after booster box cases and ETB cases. Dan, why do people want to see the same videos telling them to invest in Sword Shield booster boxes before it's too late? People want to be told they're going to make money. Like, it is a soothing thing. A lot of people just want to get a confirmation bias. And probably it's right to some extent. Like, historically speaking, I believe in Pokemon. Every box is up, blah, blah, blah. I'll save the caveats and disclaimers. I think they'll make money. But, like, a lot of people just they like tuning in 5 times a week to be reinforced. You just made money. You're going to make more money. We're all going to make money. Like, even if this is their whole portfolio, well, this is a bad one because you're losing money here. But if this is your whole portfolio, seeing charts of line go up, line go up, line go up, like I don't understand it. I guess I do. To an extent, I consume like general finance content, and I hear people talking about the S&P 500 and all the hit, but I don't really care. Like, I'm not selling anytime soon. I'm not going to try to, like, I will time the market in Pokemon. I'm not going to try to time the market in that stuff. So I'm truly, that's where I delineate investing too. Almost nothing could happen if you get really silly. If the S&P 500 20x'd overnight, I would sell it all, and then I would be financially independent, and it wouldn't matter what any of it did, and the 4% rule would be out the window because I would have enough money to just spend out of my bank account and never run it out for the next 50 years. That's not happening though, so it's a silly, once you get into the silly hypotheticals, it's like, what are we even doing? But yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like, if people are entertained by that, I'm not trying to yuck yums. I'm just stating a fact that some amount of people just really like hearing, like, hey, you made money. We made money. We made money again. We made money again. I don't watch that kind of finance content. I don't watch, like, the S&P 500 is up 5%. It's up 10%. Like, I just listen more to the concepts and things like that. I listen more to the strategies, how to optimize, how to maximize. And I used to be worse. It's funny. Back when I had less than 10 cases of Pokemon booster boxes, I probably did pay a little more attention. Back when I had less than 10 grand in my IRAs and 401ks, I probably refreshed what the S&P 500 was doing more. I probably watched and cared more about. Now that I have a lot more of all that stuff, I'm just not as into the day-to-day at all. Like, at all. I'll look up S&P 500 right now. It's up 0.25% today, and it's up 15.69% for the year. That's a crazy year. I wouldn't have expected it would have done this. Will it be up more? Will it be flat? Will it be down? I don't know. No one knows. 20 years, do I have an idea what it would be? Yes, I think I have a better idea where it will be 20 years compared to 20 days, 20 weeks, 20 months. But just navigating still. But the content is there too. The content is there. Hey, the S&P 500 is up 0.25% today because XYZ. Like, people will attribute why certain things are happening. Like, this is a tangible, there's a reprint, but people will attribute all different kinds of things. Some of it right, some of it wrong, some of it maybe part of the picture, not the whole picture. But, and the same thing goes on. Like, I literally watch, today I spent over an hour watching people play a 20-year-old medieval point-and-click game, RuneScape. Not only did I watch that, I watch content where people break down and, like, talk about the strategies and the things and the luck and things that went into other people playing the game. So it's like, I'm not yucking other people's yums of what entertains them. We're all a little crazy. We all have our own things. But same thing with sports. Like, I used to have, I don't have ESPN anymore. I used to watch SportsCenter every morning. Like, not only would I watch the games on Sunday, I would watch like hours a week breaking down that interception. I'd watch that interception 25 times. I'm a Jets fan, so I'd watch mostly interceptions and recapping losses, not wins and touchdowns. But I'd listen to all the breakdowns, and I'd back in college when I had all the time, the amount of in-depth analysis that I would do trying to like plan my fantasy football drafts, wild. And I don't think I did any better either. I had all the information and I didn't do any better. So I guess maybe I'm learning in my old age that all that extra analysis, all that extra stuff, like it just doesn't do much, if anything. So yeah, I don't know. Any speculation on SV reprints? Historically speaking, 2 years. These things are barely 2 months old. Some of them, way under 2 years. All of them. I think almost all of them will be reprinted. I think Pokemon, as they do normally, they will pick one or two that they don't reprint as heavily, they don't reprint as much. Look, here's maybe a hot take. Maybe it's the coldest take ever made. I think there will be a $300 Scarlet and Violet booster box within a year. Is that a hot take? I don't even know what's a hot take anymore. Like, I genuinely, that feels like a really hot take. But that's what I'm guessing. I think within a year there will be a $300 Scarlet and Violet set. I don't know which. It will be obvious once it happens. If or when it happens, it will be obvious. I think within 5 years there will be a $500 Scarlet and Violet set. Maybe within 5 years that'll be a $500 one. I was thinking about saying 700 or 1,000. I don't think so, but I'm relatively comfortable with making those statements. Don't act on that. That's not financial advice. I don't know which one. And if you bind all of them, blah blah blah, opportunity cost, the buckets, on to the next one. I have 0 Ghastly IRs. Maybe I have 1 or 2 on my desk somewhere in a recent collection that I bought at 80%, but I don't think so. I don't think I have any, but I do have a handful of collections in front of me here. There could be one. I mean, in Pokemon, it made no sense for years, ripping Fossil, Jungle First Edition, Base Set Unlimited. I was ripping German Base Set First Edition, Base Set Unlimited. Sorry, if I said Base Set First Edition for English, I did not mean that. I meant foreign Base Set First Edition. For years, the market made no sense. So things can absolutely make no sense and go right under your noses. But like, I wouldn't be overly shocked if at $40 a box this were plus EV, but I don't think it's the case, and I don't think you can find 40 right now in quantity. I think you're more paying 50, low mid 50s. So, let's see. I think it was Danny P showed you were making like average $7 per box. Modern Sealed is only plus EV on large volume, and it's a lot of work. Yeah, it's tons of work. To do a mass break, like when I was doing MetaZoo, I was doing 10,000 packs of every MetaZoo set. That's a lot. That's I was doing a lot. I was opening 300 box equivalent. I was opening 300 booster box equivalent, 50 case equivalent of Metazoo. How dark is that? That was super plus EV though. The chase cards were very hard to hit. The native 19, the whatever all the other ones were. That was plus EV. And it was a lot of work though. It was a lot of work. You had a lot of bulk. 18th gonna be Rocket Moon, Don't Sleep. Dan leaking, shaking my head, talking about New Jersey. Buy and hold vintage slabs, or is vintage dead forever? I think if you target the top 1 to 5% of good slabs from the vintage eras, like those are fairly obvious things, I think, too, for people that are in this live chat. People that are in this live chat are in pretty deep. So like high grade gold stars, high grade base set first edition, high grade WotC hollows of any kind, high grade old school EXs, popular species, more popular species on a lot of the like the Neo era sets. And I don't like the PSA 10 Yanma that's like pop 15 or whatever. Those things are, I think, quite speculative. But there is value in certain vintage, but I'm not personally investing in it. Like I think people buying the right things, and I have an idea of what the right things are, but I don't think it will outpace a lot of the modern sealed. I don't think it will outpace a lot of the other opportunity costs that I have. And I think there's some people investing in it with 30% credit cards. So like it's all about your opportunity cost, and I'm not comfortable enough to like invest in it. I mean, I have some vintage slabs that I'm investing in because I'm not immediately paper handing them to the market. I am auctioning a lot of them though in the coming months. But and I have been over the past year, 2 years, multiple years. But yeah, I don't know. You think they'll put Charizard in Dragon? I don't know. I mean, technically he's not even a Dragon, right? Isn't he just flying and Fire type in the game? Not even Dragon type in the game? Honestly, most Dragon types are mid in Pokemon. Rocket set way more hype. There's always something hype around the corner. If Dragon set looks to be good, we will have it available. Yes, it will be on eBay. Affiliate link below, but you probably don't want to buy it there. The masses will buy it there. Dan, that's the infinite money glitch on YouTube. How come you don't do it? I don't enjoy it. Like I truly am not making this channel solely for financials. Like, and then this is not me saying that I could if I wanted to. I don't, like, on top of not wanting to, I don't think I could. Partially my sanity of just saying the same thing over and over, even though I kind of borderline am doing that here on certain things. But I wouldn't enjoy it. I don't believe in a lot of it. I think it would steer a lot of people that shouldn't be in this space buying things that they shouldn't be. I think it would steer a lot of people poorly that would be better putting their money elsewhere. And yeah, that's mainly the thing. Like I'm on YouTube some amount for the money. I think it's plus EV for my business. More indirectly than directly. Like directly what I get from YouTube AdSense, directly what I get from affiliate links on eBay and all that stuff. Few $100 a month. Indirectly though, the amount of collections that I have reach out to me, being able to run the consignment business, the intangibles, the indirect is a lot more valuable than the direct. And I genuinely do enjoy these live streams. I work alone primarily. I'm not a super social person, but I still need a little bit of socializing here and there. And weekly, between here and on PokeFlips, I'm interacting more with the outside world, right? Like outside of just some close family, basically. So it's good to get a little bit of that. Will we be carrying Japanese Stein soon? Hopefully never. I don't know what point is 100% spot on, but thank you. I'm 9 minutes behind again. No plug on wholesale signs confirmed. Dan, the market was closed today. Dude doesn't know finance. Well, it must be showing me the market for yesterday. It is. It is showing me June 18th, 5:13 p.m. Yes, it was Juneteenth today. I am one of those people that did go to the post office today, forgetting that my wife and my son were off school today. Not only did we go to the post office, on the way to the drive-through zoo safari, we hit up the post office. And Then we went to the drive-through Safari that was already closed for the day. They closed it early because of the heat. I'm in upstate New York. The heat has been crazy. My son actually has half days all week because of the heat. It's like 90, 95, 96 degrees, which is very not common for mid-June in upstate New York. Let's see. Boo Jets. we got some multiple Dolphins fans in here. I know. Dan would look cool with a nose piercing, not coming anytime soon or ever. Dan trying to show them pallets up for his dad. So far, the only Scarlet and Violet set that matters is 151. Overall, I think every Scarlet and Violet set is outperforming what I thought they would have done. I think a lot of them on TCG Player are like over 100, which, I mean, I can't sell it for profit based off paying low mid 90s on my wholesale, but it's still higher than I would have expected, to be honest. Interesting though. Let's see. Spins are doomed. Tua is a junk slab in a shiny case. Let's see. Can you tell me which set will hit 300 in a year? No, but in a year and a half, I'll make a video telling you how obvious it was, and all the lines will be up, all the TCG Player charts this way. I think I never know which way to go, but yes, I will tell you after it's happened how obvious it was and how you're dumb if you didn't know. Let's see. 300 in a year, I'm going with Paldea Evolved if no reprint, or Dark Horse Candidate Twilight Masquerade. How do I turn my $10 into $10,000? Need it by next week. Please help. Keep making vendor POV videos. Bulbasaur is crushing it over there. What did you just cross recently? I saw you cross something. Was it 50K? Congrats on that. Yeah, talking about YouTube videos going viral. Or no, he's almost at 50K. I don't think there's a single person in here that probably hasn't heard of you, seen your videos, but who knows? We have 80 people watching. Maybe we can get you one sub. We can get you one sub towards 50K. Bulbasaur's at 48.9K with 82 videos. That's wild. Man's crushing it. What do I have? I gotta be over 300 videos now, right? Maybe. Well, I think it counts shorts too. 482 videos. I don't know if that counts shorts, lives, if that's just videos. I don't even know. But 5.22K subs over here. almost 10x in me. Thanks for stopping in. Bulbasaur checking in for the plays. Love to see it. Man doesn't need any plays from me. Dan's gonna talk about the Bulbasaur coming for the next 2 weeks. He's been in here. He's been in here a handful of times. Let's see. He paid me to stay for 5 minutes. Business decision. Oh, man. He paid you in MetaZoo boxes, didn't he? Don't mess this up, Danny. We got James lurking. James lurking back there. Let's see. Thrifty's trying to get that Bulbasaur buyout. Thrifty's going to be in Dallas. Bulbasaur in YouTube subscribers and potentially in many more ways. Definitely greater than Dan, for sure. I'm fully caught up, so if anyone has any questions, feel free to leave them. We are an hour and a half, hour and 38 minutes in. I don't have a deadline, really. I don't have a curfew. I did cover the main thing I wanted to cover. But Bulbasaur is the one. I keep telling people, vendor POV, look at what Bulbasaur is doing. You gotta copy it. You gotta copy what's working. There's a formula out there that's working. And then Ernesto makes a vendor POV that's him driving in a car. I mean, I did listen to the video. I did consume that content. But your average YouTube consumer is not going to watch a vendor POV where you drive in a car. I do have one thing on my list that I do have to do. I will, soon... As I was saying earlier, like, I don't think I have the personality. I don't think I have the charisma, whatever you want to call it. I don't think I have it for being a viral channel. Like, I don't have the energy. I'm way too boring, way too plain, vanilla, whatever. One of my favorite finance creators on YouTube is called The Plain Bagel. Like, I feel like I'm the plain bagel of this space of content. I just, it has a low ceiling. It has a very low ceiling, and I know it, and I'm fine with that. But, there's a chance. There's a chance that I buy a camera, and maybe in Charlotte, maybe in Chicago, the next things that I vend, that I do a vendor POV. But being honest, I just don't think I will. Like, I think it's more likely than not that I won't. But who knows? Maybe I will. We'll see. Not gonna make any promises, though. Nesto innovating, don't sleep. Trust me, no one want to watch Dan vent. Oh, man. Tips to not sound like an idiot online, asking for myself. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. My next vid's going to be strictly in my car. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Nah, you the slightly moldy bagel. Oh, man. One thing I do have to do tonight, if you have questions, feel free to leave them. If you want to save yourself, save the chat. I do have my first feature collection up for sale. Not all my own cards, mostly my own cards because it's my first one. But I am now consigning both through eBay Buy It Now, as I always have done. Sadly, a lot more expensive than it used to be because the eBay Vault 0% is gone. But I do have eBay Buy It Now consignments. And I do also have PWCC auction consignments. So I will do auctions on eBay. You're way better off going through ZNG Emporium. You're better off going elsewhere for auction consignments. Like, just open, honest, transparent to a fault. But I know he's getting into Buy It Nows a little bit. I don't know exactly what the details will be, but he will likely be cheaper at almost every tier. Yeah. PWCC, though, I can sell for you for cheaper than you can sell yourself for any card above $100. So looking at the PWCC by itself, if I can. So looking at PWCC by itself, I don't know off the top of my head what all the rates are. And one thing that annoys me, I'll quickly cover this. I'm making a short in the next couple of days where I go deeper into this. But they do hammer and then buyer's premium. So whatever hammer is, the buyer pays 20% buyer's premium. I base my rates here, and shout out to Mr. Walrus for making the graphic. I appreciate you. I make this based off of the total payment. So if a buyer wins an item for 10K bid, hammer, 12K is with buyer's premium. I will pay you 95% of that. That is more than you will get. I forget off the top of my head what you get for 12K. I think with 12K, you'll get like 110, 112% of hammer. 95% though of the total price mathematically works out to be higher than that. So for every price, 90% on 100 to 1,000, 92.5 from 1,000 to 5,000, and 95% above 5,000. That beats PWCC directly for all amounts above 100, except for above $1 million. If you have above $1 million card, I will price match PWCC and I will give you that same amount. So yeah, that's the thing. PWCC pays out 115% of hammer. PWCC pays out 115% of hammer above $1 million. So if you have $1 million card, I will match that. If you do the math on it, and people are terrible at math, it's an awful thing. It sucks. But if you do the math, 115 over 120. So 115 of hammer over the 120 that the buyer paid is actually 95.8333%. So you're actually paying a 4.17%. If you look at my rates right here, if you look at my rates, so direct, you'll pay 4.17% selling $1 million card on PWCC. I will match that. I can't beat it, but I will match it. Very unlikely to come up in the Pokemon space. But that's the annoying thing. Like, I charge a 20% fee. I pay out 80% on a $90 card. PWCC on a $90 card gives you 102% of hammer. 102% of hammer actually works out to where you're getting more than 80% of the total price. The math is annoying, but like I actually do. I think I do have a graphic. Let me see if I can get it on screen. I don't think I had it handy. I think I need to go into my DMs with Walrus. Thank you again, Mr. Walrus. Yes, so fresh right here. I will save this. I will create a new image source. It's probably going to start out huge, but I will hit you with some examples. Where'd it go? There we go. So yeah, it came out massive, as I figured it would. But this is the way the math works. So I'm going to show this on a short, and I'm going to show this on my website elsewhere. So if you sell a $29.99 card on PWCC, Hammer would have been $29.90. What is that? $29.98? $29.96, and the sale price would be $29.95. You would net $24.96. You would get 100% of Hammer through PWCC. You'll get less through me. So you see the red numbers. Red numbers are bad. If you sell a sub $100 card through me, you will net less than if you sell through PWCC directly. Send me your $100 plus cards. If you sell a $999.95 card, Hammer would have been whatever it would have been. I mean, whatever that is divided by 1.2. PWCC, you would net $866.62. Through me, you would be in the tier that pays you 90% of the final price. So you would actually get $899.96. You would actually get an additional $33.33. If you sell a $5,000 card through me, $4,999.95, you will actually get an additional $200 over what you would get through PWCC directly. So on and on, there are the numbers. I will have a calculator on my website that demonstrates those numbers, the math, shows you I do work with PWCC now. I do have a consignment service through them, but I will still critique them on things that I'm not a huge fan of, as I did with eBay, as I do with PSA, CGC, BGS, all these companies I use. I wish PWCC would just have the price be the price, have everything be, and it's just semantics. It's just semantics, but buyer's premium is just annoying. People are so bad at math. People are so bad at math that the reason they do it is because people bid and forget about the buyer's premium, or they're bad at calculating what the buyer's premium would be. I just do it off. So when you search alt and you see a PWCC comp, when you search PWCC sales history and you see like, hey, I can sign this card with Dan. I can sign my Bigfoot card with Dan, and Metazoo's dead, so it only sold for $100. The way that PWCC shows it, they show the total price. They don't show Hammer. So I'm basing it off the number that you actually see when you research based off PWCC sales. So when you see your 10 cards that you sent me, you will see the price that I'm doing my math on. This math here, you will be basing it off what you see. When you do their math, when you do the Hammer isn't even shown anywhere. It's such an annoying way to do it. So I'm separating that. I'm separating you from that. I'm interacting with PWCC. They are paying me out above 100% of Hammer, and then I'm just paying you out based on the total amount. That's the way that I know some other people do it through PWCC. That's the way that I'm doing it. I think it's more clear. It's unfortunate that buyer's premium exists, that it's a thing, but it is an industry standard with Golden, with Heritage, with Sotheby's, with all these companies. So yeah, it is what it is. You record your con experience as a seller. Why this man think it's so hard? So some of it comes down to, like, again, me having a face for radio, me not being the social media influencer type. I just don't think I'm the type. I think if I were better looking, with a better voice, with better charisma overall, I think it would be more likely. And not saying you need to have a full bar and all those stats, but that, along with other things, I just don't think mine will do well. Maybe that's me selling myself short, but I think I've got myself pinned pretty well for where my lane is and what my content is. So maybe I'm overthinking it, but we'll see. We'll see. If you did big deals and consistent POV vendor vids, I think you would get a lot of views if the vids were edited well. Edited well, you just lost me there. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe someday. Flame Bagel is awesome. I also listen to Swedish Investor too. Dan grilling POV, Dan mowing POV. See, that's more my lane. That's more my lane. Maybe we'll get those. Very snazzy visual. Look at Mr. Walrus's name too. Mr. Walrus, PWCC rates are hard. Just ask. So I mean, he's demonstrating right there just what I was talking about. I don't want you to send them. Like please don't send to me your sub $100 cards. I told you earlier, James is probably better than me on a lot of eBay consigning stuff. It's like Rusty says the same things. He's like, I will sell your stuff on consignment if you want me to, but there are probably people out there with better rates. It's like, if you think that I'll get more money, whatever, if you like certain things that I do, if you just want to support and send to me, like, that's fine. I will take your sub $100 cards, but it's probably not better for you. Like, I will just tell you up front. I will tell you up front. There are times that people come to me with collections that have X, Y, like, whatever. I'll say, my offer is this, but I think Nick will offer more. My offer is this, but I think this guy will offer more. Like, there are quite a few times that I do that. Like, that stuff is not in my wheelhouse, and I think there's someone that pays better. That is something that I'm not afraid to do. Question, why do you net less on a 97.50 sale versus a 10.250 sale? Because it's a lower sale amount? I don't know what the question is. Did Dan just say he thinks Bulbasaur is gorgeous? Oh, man. I have a full bar in all those stats. Ray, I'm sorry to say, I didn't mention it. Hairline is another stat that I nor you have a full bar in. But, Dan, when will you stop being lazy and actually try to YouTube? This is me YouTubing. I don't know where lazy comes in. I actually just scheduled my next month worth of shorts every other day-ish. There's some back-to-back days. There's some stretches where it's 3 days. Big fan of the Opus Clip Pro, whatever it's called. I'm new to the whole PWCC thing, so people pay more to buy from these companies. Some cards sell for more, some cards sell for less. I made a video on Monday where I talked about what's better to sell, auction or buy it now. Later in the video, I also got into the nitty-gritty of, like, here's a bunch of alt comps. Here's a bunch of alt comps on PWCC and eBay. And sometimes eBay was outselling, sometimes PWCC was outselling. These things do not have a fixed market price. When you auction a card inherently, there's going to be a wide range what they go for. Sometimes PWCC does better. Sometimes it's very inconsistent, as auctions are. So you need to be careful on where you sell stuff. But I think PWCC certainly has its applications. LOL can confirm lacking bars in hair stats. It's not Ray slander. I mean, it just is. It's just facts. Ray's not salty about it. Ray's not sad about it. It just is. It's the life we're living. I've not checked in on the palette. It's only been a month or two, hasn't it? I think a fair bit of stuff's up, but some of it's probably down. Thrifty Max drunk stats this weekend. So buyer's premium. So the way that it works, say a card goes for $10,000. Say the market price is $10,000 on a card. What people will do, they'll just bid like $8,200 so that after the buyer's premium, they'll be around 10,000. It's annoying to have to do that extra step of math, but like most people are factoring it in to some extent, but it's just a layer of obfuscation. I know Brad loves that word. It's a layer of them obfuscating what the total price will be. I would rather when you bid 10,000, you just pay 10,000, but knowing that you're going to pay a 20% buyer's premium, you just back calculate and you bid lower, right? You bid lower so that your end price, your out the door price is what you want to pay. So theoretically, if a card's going to go for 10K on eBay, to make it easier, if a card's going to go for 12K on eBay, it would presumably go for about 10K on PWCC hammer price. They'll pay you out 100 and whatever percent of hammer, and the all-in total price with buyer's premium, hammer times 1.2 is the total price, will be $12,000, same as it was on eBay. But if you auction the same card twice on eBay, it's going to go for different prices. Cards are non-fungible. They don't go for the same price. If you auction 2 Moonbreons in the same day, 2 PSA 10 Celebrations Charizards in the same day, there's variance. There's always going to be variance. So overall, though, like, if you look at it as a percentage of the total price, working backwards, I will pay out 80% under 100 minus $3 if you're under 30. Please don't send me under $30 cards. I will pay you out 90% on the total price between 100 and 1,000. I'll pay you out 92.5%. so functionally a 7.5% selling fee between 1,000 and 5,000, and above 5,000, I will pay you out 95% of the total price, which is functionally a 5% fee. So that's the only way you need to look at it. What not used open bar? It was super effective. You gotta love Collecticon open bar nights. Are you still auctioning after eBay Vault's gone? So I will periodically auction. I will auction more on PWCC because I have more competitive rates. But honestly, like I probably will be auctioning. I've used Probstein. I've used DC Sports. I've used Old Skool Pokemon. I've used ZNG Emporium. There's a decent chance I'll be auctioning some amount of my stuff on other people's eBays. We'll see. We'll see how things go in the future. I have in the past. I might continue to. But a lot of my auctions will go to PWCC as well, now that I have better rates there. So auctions have always been a minor part of my business. They might be becoming a little bit more major. And as I said in my video Monday, there are certain types of cards that do better in auctions. Tighter auction buy now spread. The rule is that auctions go for less than buy nows on average, but you have exceptions here and there where they go above. Cards are not fungible might be a stronger example. Yada yada yada. But let's see. Man just figures out a way to use the word obfuscate in every stream. It's such a good word. How can you not use it? People will never owe me money. If your card goes to PWCC and it gets 0 bids, I just won't give you any money. I mean, I won't get any money from them, so I won't give you any. You can never. One exception. I've not announced it yet formally. I've not really put much out there on that, but there is a mechanism in PWCC to send raw cards in, and all this stuff applies for when the branding for PWCC becomes Fanatics, because Fanatics did buy them a year ago. They are going to be called Fanatics Collects or Fanatics Collectibles instead of PWCC at some point later this year, which they've announced recently. When that service comes along, I need to figure out the logistics. I need to figure out exactly how and when payment for the grading will work. In a perfect world, you will send good stuff that I will take a glance over and I will verify. We will actually make enough money to pay back the grading fees. But yeah, you'll be able to send me raw that will go and get graded and automatically auction through my PWCC. Once a month as of now. In the future, maybe twice a month, maybe every week, I will have a feature collection. But as of today, my feature collection is every second Sunday. So it's this Sunday, which is actually the 3rd Sunday of June, I believe. No, it's the 4th Sunday of June because it's a 5 Sunday month for June. But anyways, this coming Sunday is my first feature collection ending on PWCC. After this month, so starting July 14th will be my first feature collection ending. Yes, July 14th. On the 2nd Sunday of a month. Every month into the future, as long as this process goes on, which I intend on it going for a while. Quite a while. Every 2nd Sunday of the month. July 14th. August 11th. September 8th. October 13th. My feature collection will be ending, and what a feature collection is, I will open up my PWCC now, and I will go to weekly auctions. Let me make sure I close the Retro 151 Japanese seal tab so that I don't accidentally share that. I think, okay, yes, I do have PWCC pulled up. So if you go over on the left side here, what the filtered feature collection is let's get rid of Brad's comment. So on the left side here, weekly auction 127 is the current weekly auction that ends this Sunday. If you scroll down, feature collections, catch 'em all collectibles. So this is my filter. This is my featured collection where you get, I mean, they fall within all the normal searches, but then they also fall within the filter. So if any people are solely looking at my items, if any people want to only look at my items, they will have a way to see them separated from everything else. So I have some bangers here, some of which are mine, some of which are consigner cards, but let's go through some of them. You got a PSA 10 base set unlimited Charizard. You got a full art Mario Pikachu. You got this Grail top pop, top graded number grade on there. There's no PSA 10s out there, at least as of the time that I recorded my video for Monday. I don't think any have been graded in the past 3 days. It would have been big news if it was. But the first appearance, hologram from the Topps movie 2000. Very, very hard card to pull. Very, very like scarce product to find these days. Years ago, I was ripping those boxes. I was buying those boxes for like $50 a piece and ripping them. I don't think I ever pulled the Lugia. I pulled like the Letty Buzz and whatever the other cards were. And I sold them all for like $30 a piece to pay for the box. But anyways, you got a CGC 9.5 of that card. You got a CGC 9.5 Pikachu Gold Star. What did I just do? Oh, I just accidentally went to I can't do that. I was trying to go to my live chat and I accidentally went to I showed YouTube double. But yeah, scrolling down, let's see. Let me see if I can fix this. Hold on. I need to fix this so I can still have the live chat. Which one is this gonna grab now? Okay, grab the right one. So now I can have my live chat and I can continue to scroll. So if you're interested to consign with me, email me, click the link below, DM me on Instagram, wherever you want to find me. All of these consigner cards above $100, they're netting more than they would have had they sent these to PWCC directly. Some of these are mine. Some of these are consigner cards. But yeah, you got the Bandai card that's vending, the red Pikachu Prism, 1996 Japanese card. This is something that's like out of my expertise, out of my wheelhouse, but it is a great card. Very, very early card of Pikachu. So you'll love to see that. You got some Rayquaza. You got two of my own. So this is me doubling up my own card. We'll see how it goes. Two of my own Rayquaza VMAX Alt Arts. And as of today, the price that you see here, so if you're watching your auctions during the week that they're live, if you were consigning this card with me, this card is at $420, but if it closed at $420, the buyer would actually pay $420 times 1.2. I know it's kind of confusing. I'm not a huge fan of it. But $420 times 1.2 is $504. So Hammer right now, if this ended, would be $420. Total price would be $504 if Hammer ended at $420. Off that, you net 90% because it's above $100, but less than $1,000. So 504 times 90%, if you sold this card and it ended at $420, you'd get $453.60. So $453.60 minus $420, so 33.6 over $420. So that's like getting 108% of Hammer. I think PWCC pays like 106 or 104% of Hammer at that price. I don't remember exactly, but I will make more graphics. I will make more content kind of demonstrating what you net and all that, because it is kind of unfortunately it's unfortunately obfuscated by PWCC's whole buyer premium thing. CGC 10 Vaporeon Skyridge. You got a PSA 8 Latios. That's from the collection that I bought, the $22,000. All the Sun and Moon and all the Sword and Shield cards. You got some German first edition. You got some WotC stuff, CGC, PSA. You got first edition base. You do have a 1 of 10 card. A 1 of 10 frog token. Powdered Turquoise. Or no. Powdered Turquoise was the other serialized card that I pulled. But I threw a serialized Metazoo card there. Let's see how punished I get on that. What is that card at? I wasn't paying attention. That card's at 155 plus buyer's premium. Let's see what it ends at. You've got some Black Label Nagabas. You've got all kinds of stuff going on. One thing that I can take too, so I'm going to scroll really quickly to the end of this so everything gets shown briefly. But multiple things I can take, not one thing. Multiple things I can take. Graded coin there. So with the eBay Vault, I was limited to getting really dark down here on some things that don't have a bid yet, I think. Yeah, starting price, some Chinese Luffy promos. But anyways, that is a little bit of what I have going on right now on PWCC. Check the filtered collection. I actually need to get a link for that in my description. I don't have it yet. But I can take sealed. I can take loose sealed booster boxes. I can take sealed cases of booster boxes. I don't have them in this filtered collection, but next filtered collection, ending July 14th, I'm actually sending my own sealed booster cases. A couple excess ones I have that didn't make the investment palette video. A couple excess ones that were kind of in rough shape. I'm interested to see how they do on PWCC. But I can take single sealed packs, higher value ones. I can take single sealed booster boxes. Don't send this one. It's under 100. You would get kind of wrecked. Don't send this one. But if you have a whole case that'll go for several hundred, I mean, this one at this time, I probably wouldn't do it. But if you have a case of other product that you've made money on, ideally, uncut sheets. I'm actually going to be sending my own uncut sheets. I don't think I'll get them there in time for July. I don't think I'll run them all at once. But one thing that's good about, compared to eBay Vault, former consignment service, through PWCC, I'll be able to sell for you a wider variety of stuff. Actually, graded booster packs too. There's a wider variety of things that I'll be able to sell through there at higher, above 100, higher than you can get selling yourself. Question, I have a wedding this weekend. Do I bust out the Pokemon socks or leave them in the dresser? I was just going through clothes. I was just throwing away a bunch of old clothes. I have some Pokemon socks. I haven't sported them in quite a while, but I would pull the Pokemon socks, to be honest. Let's see. Let's see. Notice how Brad is in chat and Dan is passive. As soon as Brad leaves is when Dan attacks. Brad went to bed at a timely point in the other live stream, but not gonna go off on Brad this one. Panga has 4 of those Lugias. Well, feel free to consign with Catch 'em All Collectibles cross PWCC. Nah, Dan, you're paying out 90%. Dan trying to confuse people with the math, used car salesman tactics. I genuinely don't like buyer's premium because I think that's part of it. I think part of it is that people spend more not really doing the math on what they're going to actually spend. So I use the basis. But part of it too is like, if I did a basis off of Hammer isn't, like, for the consigner, Hammer is not even accessible as far as I understand. Like if I go into let me get it pulled up. If I go into sold items in PWCC, I could be wrong here, but let me verify. If I just look up Mario Pikachu, I don't think you can see what Hammer was. So let me go here. So if I look, like this sold a PSA 9, let's find a PSA 10 because we like big numbers. So here's a PSA 10. Here's a PSA 10 of the half art. Here's a PSA 10 of the full art. Where's my Chrome? Why is it locked? There we go. So we like 10s. We like big numbers. So I have one of each of these on the current weekly auction. So it went for $5,400 with buyer's premium. Like, people are not good at math. I'm going to pay you out these percentages below based on this that you see in the sales history. Because if you got to do the math, now you got to take this. It's like, okay, X times 1.2 equal this. Now you got to go back to 3rd grade algebra. You got to say, oh, okay, this divided by 1.2. So 5,400 divided by 1.2. Hammer was 4,500. And now Dan's going to pay me out, PWCC is going to pay me out X percent, 108, 106, 100, whatever. That's just a stupid process. 5,400, Dan's going to pay me out 92.5%. So 5,400 times 0.925, 49.95. If you sold this through me, you would have gotten paid out 49.95. It's a lot more simple. That's the way that I'm going to run it. That is the appropriate way to run it because the consigner can see these numbers. If I click into this, let me see. If I click into this, you like literally that number is advertised nowhere. Like they base everything off Hammer, which is a number that people can't even see. Like I just don't like that. I like the fact that people will be able to see the number that I'm basing the calculation off of. So that's the route that I'm going with it. Um, Hi Dan, what do you consider a good margin for say 151 Japanese booster boxes selling on eBay? It all depends. Like it all depends on a good margin. The bigger the better. The bigger the better. How much money do you want to make an hour? How long does it take you to pack a box? Like there's no set 1%, 10%, 20%. The bigger the better. But what will they actually sell at? And how much do you need to make to justify the work? Right? So if it takes you 5 minutes to pack a box, you can pack 12 boxes an hour. If you're only making $1 a box, do you want to work for 12 bucks an hour? Risking all that capital, doing all that work, like it's all just math. So you got to base it off your own metrics. Let's see. Damn, this is still going. Thanks, Ernie. I probably will wrap up relatively soon. We made it over 2 hours. I have some work that I could do definitely before bed, but we'll see. I got tagged in Discord. I did not mention, I'm not even going to say what the DM said because it was an hour ago and I'm going to get in trouble again if I mention it. But if anyone has any final questions, feel free to leave them in the chat. I will wrap up with a couple questions. I'll call it at the latest by 11:30 if people have the questions. But if not, I'll end in the next few minutes. Yeah, if you're interested, feel free to reach out about consigning. If you're interested in seeing, I will be posting a couple stories between now and Sunday when the auctions go into extended bidding. If you're interested in bidding on any of my items, consignor items in the weekly feature, that will be a thing. That happens every second Sunday of every month moving ahead. Aside from that, though, I have consigners that want things sold quicker. I'm not selling through PWCC only once a month. I am selling on my behalf, on your behalf, every single week on PWCC. So they only run Sunday to Sunday, just how I used to do when I did auctions through the eBay vault and on eBay. I am selling every weekly auction. So only the second Sunday end date will it be a featured collection with a filter, but they will be ending every Sunday at the same rates, all the other same information. It's just there won't be a filter for it. Some people care about that. Some people don't care about that. I have items right now. I think I have 50 items already scheduled for July 14th end date. But some people are like, Dan, I want my sales sooner. I want my money sooner. I have 30 or 40 auctions going live this Sunday. Or, sorry, going live tomorrow night actually, ending next Sunday. So some people want the filter. Some people might want the anonymity. Some people might be like, hey, PWCC is nice because it doesn't tie it to your name, doesn't tie it to my name. I don't want it in your filter. I'm going to send you this $20,000 card, and I don't want it in your filter. Run it whenever. That's perfectly fine, too. That's a thing that I will be doing, that I am actively doing. So, yeah. One interesting angle, just to cover it, too. I know we got a lot of people in here that follow other people's eBays and really stress about that person's stealing my plays, and that, like, that's one thing that doesn't happen when you're consigning with people. That's one thing that if you consign through James, through Rusty, through myself, through Nick, people don't know whose items are whose. Sure, if you tag me on Instagram saying like, hey, I Rock Pokemon tagged me on Instagram today. The card ass Pikachu is actually his, ending this Sunday. If you want the additional promotion, tag me, link your card on Instagram, and I will share that. I will always share a consigner tagging me, linking their own cards. Like, whatever that's worth, whatever it's not worth. Like, I don't know how much it's worth, but it might get new eyes that follow me on Instagram that place the high bid. Who knows? But, so that visibility is there if you want it, and you don't need it if you don't want to. Some people just want to be completely off the map. They don't want it tied to my filter. They don't want me to tag them on Instagram, talk about them. That's perfectly fine too. I mean, that's probably more the majority of my consigners in that way. But the TC Genius is selling the Lugia, the first appearance Lugia, through me on PWCC, and Rock Pokemon, Connor, is selling the Prism Pikachu through me on the PWCC. So yeah, if you want to be public with it, if you want to tag me, I'll absolutely signal boost that. But if you don't want to, that's perfectly fine too. Oh, do the comment section review on your American Dream short. So I forgot about that, but I did ask you 2.5 hours in to let me know. I will go through that a little bit. Question: best guess, how many Black Label English Charizards total? Graded, all sets included, all promos. Probably over 1,000. Yeah, Dan never stole a play in his life. I mean, if I feel like Jake said this before, I feel like it's a good comment too. If your whole business relies on a play that someone could steal, that's not a very great business. And I'm saying this to Retro, to everyone, and this Retro, like who is pivoting away, I think, from a lot of the plays and getting more into the volume, the wholesale, the lower margin, but the higher volume stuff that I think is a lot more sustainable. Like finding those connections, finding those things, and being able to take product to the right place. I mean, there's risks with that, and some of that could dry up and go away. But I think a lot of that is a lot more resistant to the play being stolen. But yeah, let's see. My whole business relies on a play. Hey Dan, what's your record shipping day in terms of quantity? Like how many packages shipped in a single trip to the post office? Probably like 150 to 200. I definitely in my day have had a couple massive auction blocks. I've had a couple in the past year or two as well. I do actually need to show really quickly. I have a little auction block going on eBay too that I do need to show. I have some very niche items in this one. I definitely have some very niche, different, let's see if my eBay will update. I have some very niche serialized. So move aside Lorcana. I have some serialized vintage, or not really vintage. Is 3-year-old vintage. I have some serialized 2020. So 4-year-old. Is that vintage? I have some serialized Upper Deck Disney cards that I can show you. So yeah, let me do a public eBay search, not through my back end. So Disney. But I do have like 80 items at auction, some Pokemon, some Disney. But yeah, let me get my listing up from the public facing side. And I will quickly show you ending soonest, auctions only. So 84 results. I have 84 items up for auction. We have a few stamped Worlds promos. We have and the reason that I'm going to this, Sky asked me how many orders I shipped in one day. This coming Monday, given that I have 84 auctions, I'll probably be shipping around 100 or so. But in the past, I've done like 200 auctions all ending at once, and a lot of people combined, and maybe it ended up being 100 to 150, but probably 100 to 150 somewhere in there. But yeah, Tropical Beach, you got some stamped Worlds promos, you've got some various Pokemon stuff, you've got some Fire, you've got some Heat, the Upper Deck, PSA 10, Gem Mint, Minnie Mouse, serialized card, serialized out of 999 in the world. Scrolling down, you got some random top stuff, you've got all kinds of mid-era, level X's, EX's, you got some WotC, you got some Japanese promos. You've got a little bit of everything. And they are true auctions, 99 cent, no reserve, all ending this Sunday. They're actually ending this Sunday. I think the first ones end like 2 hours before PWCC extended bidding. PWCC goes into extended bidding on Sunday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. These end between 8 and 10 p.m. Eastern. So these are kind of like a lead-in to my PWCC featured collection, which I will do in the future moving ahead. All my eBay auctions will end within like the final hour before my weekly auctions over at PWCC go into extended bidding. But yeah, you got a bunch of stuff there that I wanted to show. Affiliate link below if you're interested in bidding on any of it. There might be a bunch of cheap serialized Disney cards if anyone's interested. So check those out if interested. No worries if not, as always. Dan calling 2020 vintage. How's it going, the Pull Father? It only takes one. Man pulled some fire at a card party. Go check out what he pulled. It only takes one, and that is all it took. Late to the live, do you grade raw cards and sell for consignment? That is something that I will be doing. PWCC does it already. So reach out to me, DM me if you want to do it through PWCC. That is something that I can do today, but I'm working on putting together the specifics of how payment works, how much it costs, all that stuff. So it'll probably take me a month or two to fully push that out publicly, but I'm already doing it today for myself. I'm already doing it today for other consigners. So if you ship graded to me, sealed to me, you're shipping it straight to PWCC. What's going to happen likely, in what's happened so far, if you're doing raw to graded consignment through PWCC, you have to auction it. It's not a middleman grading service. You will send raw to me physically, to my PO box. I will send it to PWCC. Once it's graded, I'll let you know it's ready to go, and it will go into auctions like as soon as possible. I can slide things into the feature collection if you want to, but generally speaking, I think mostly those will just go into the first available weekly auction once they're done. So that is a thing already, but we'll see. I hope that does for you. That'd be awesome to get a pristine base unlimited Charizard. That'd be really cool. But yeah, I talked about PWCC. I talked about eBay. I think I covered... Brad wants to do some drama. Brad, the drama llama that he is. Let me pull up my short. I don't think I'm going to put him on screen. Oh man, I just opened up my YouTube, and there's a new Plain Bagel video. There's a new Eliop video. There's a bunch of new DMM All-Stars content in RuneScape. I'm gonna feast tomorrow in content. But yeah, let me go to my own channel. Go to my shorts. I don't think I'm definitely not gonna pull these up on screen. But I made a video talking about if the American dream was dead. I staunchly stand by, completely off the fence. The American dream is not dead. I understand how people who have less than me, were born into less than me, would take offense to that. And I mean, this was a short clipped out of broader context where I gave all the disclaimers, that I gave this and that. And the people who I was more talking to, I'm talking to specific people who were in my past, no longer in my life, because they were just perpetual victims. They were always a victim of circumstance. Like I literally went, this is not straw manning, these are people. I went to high school with people that had their whole college paid for. Some amount of my college was paid for by my parents. I said in the comments to one of these people who commented on my short, I said about 20% of my college was paid for by my parents, about 20% was paid for by me, and 60% was earned by me through scholarships, approximately. Very, very rough approximations. But just because you are privileged doesn't mean it applies to everyone. I wasn't painting it on everyone. I literally said, to start the short, people who had their whole college, like, not straw manning. There exists a person that I went to high school with that had their whole college paid for, that had cars paid for, this and that, left and right, born into the upper middle class, wherever they were, two-parent household, two parents that stayed together, and I have that too. I think one of my biggest privileges is being born in the United States, and next, one of the biggest privileges, regardless of their finances, because they were middle class somewhere in there, upper, lower, mid. I don't know exactly what defines all that, but my parents at my age have less than I do today, and I hope my daughter can say the same about where they are when they're 34. I mean, that's what you try to do as parents. You try to set your kids up to do better than you did, have more than you had, and my parents did a great job of that. But I know so many people that had even more than I did, and then they're just like waiting for someone to save them. The American dream is dead. I can't afford the apartment I want in Manhattan. I can't afford the fancy car that I want to drive. I need someone to legislate someone else's money to me to save. Like, they just externalize everything. Nothing is their fault. And then some of the people, like, it is what it is. I think my biggest privileges, though, are being born in the United States, being born in a time that, like, I wasn't born as a caveman. Like, it's great and it's lucky, it's fortunate that I was born in the era that we're in, right? Maybe I could have been luckier if I was born 1,000 years later. Maybe things will be better. Maybe things will be worse. I have no idea. But I was born into what I was born in. I have what I have. Some people get salty about the whole sugar mama meme. I think that's a funny meme. Like, I absolutely do get benefits from having a partner, having a wife who has a good job and all that. But, like, by no means am I completely just milking that and not adding anything to the pot. But yeah, just because you're privileged doesn't mean it applies to everyone. I never said it did. I was speaking to specific anecdotal examples, but I know that, like, for every anecdote I have, that there are a lot of people out there like that. Are they the majority of people? I don't think so. But there are so many people out there who, I'm not going to put a percentage to it. There are so many people out there that say that life's not fair. That guy had more. So I'm just going to sit on my hands and cry and cry and cry and place all the blame externally and not do anything to improve my position. Like, there are so many people that were born. I agree with the person in my comments that says, just because you're privileged doesn't mean it applies to everyone. Anecdotally, I know people who came from way less. I probably don't know it, and you probably don't know it. There are probably people in your life that went through shit you couldn't imagine. There are probably people in your life that went through, like, abuse, and I am privileged to not have any of that darkness in my past. I will admit that. I'm not ashamed of the fact that I was born into, like, a loving two-parent household that is still today a loving two-parent household that, like, is really instrumental in helping raising, like, hanging out with my kids and wants to be involved in their grandkids' lives. That is all a huge privilege. Not everyone has that, but anecdotally, I see and I know people that don't have any of that, that have way less than that are doing way more than I'm doing, that are doing way more than I'll ever do. Like, it's inspiring to see that kind of stuff. And when you talk about it, instead of taking it from the angle of, like, inspiration, instead of taking it from the angle of this and that, it's like, well, that guy, he had so much more than I had, and it's not fair, and I'm not going to play. I'm going to flip the table over instead of playing the cards that I was dealt. He got pocket aces. I got 2 7-off suit. It's not fair. I'm not gonna worry about what hand comes next. I'm not even gonna play the game. I'm gonna flip it over. I've gone through verbal abuse at the hands of Dan Ketchum. If that's the worst thing you've had in your life, you're doing pretty good. Brad says, for the record, I don't think the American dream is dead. I think generally, as I was saying it live, I think most people watching it live either agreed or they just didn't want to get into a back and forth on a live stream, and it's like, whatever, that's fine. But the majority of comments on that short were negative. Let's see another one. I was born in 99. I need to work 2 full-time jobs to support myself, and I've never been given a handout. I work, I eat, and I sleep, and that's it. The American dream was on life support in the early 2000s, and now it's dead. That's just false. And what I told this person, I have no idea what their whole story is. I said, I can't know your whole story from a back and forth in YouTube comments, but it's alive and well for most in America, certainly. There are absolutely, the vast minority, this is the exception, not the rule. There are people who have gone through such horrific things in life that you, like, I won't speak for anyone else. There are some people, one, and I mentioned this in that live stream, there are people that were born in war-torn countries. There are people who are killed as children in war-torn countries. That's not privilege. Like, that is the lowest rung of they have no privilege whatsoever. So I think everyone watching this clearly is not that low. Like we're all above someone. This is gonna end up getting crazy. Going too deep down this rant. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Brad, the drama llama, for bringing this up. But I don't know that person's story. I don't know your story. But to just cast the wide, some people said I was casting too wide of a net, painting too broadly with a brush. If you say the American dream is dead, that is painting with a broad brush. That is just wrong. Some percentage of people, and I apologize profusely, and I wish I could help you in some way, and hopefully someday I can donate to some causes. I can do something someday that helps people out of those situations. Like, I hope I can do that. But some amount of people just have gone through such things that yeah, like Brad is such a drama whore. I'm not even gonna say drama llama anymore. We're 2.5 hours in. Brad is such a drama whore. Stirring the pot like crazy. Had it easy his whole life. Collectibles. I had it the way I had it. I'm glad I didn't have it harder. I could have had it harder. I could have had it easier, but I had it the way I had it. I was dealt these cards and I'm playing them the best I can. That's all you can do. And for people that were born in the United States, to say the American dream is dead, like, if you've gone through the abuse, if you've gone through the crazy, terrible things, if you have horrific medical situations that are outside of your control, absolutely. Like, you are, I am so much more privileged in so many ways. But a lot of the people bitching and moaning this way about this stuff don't have any of that. And maybe it's my anecdotes that really push some Facebook arguments I had 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that'll never leave me. The amount of victimhood of some people that I know in my past life blows my mind. It blows my mind. It's sad. But there are real sad stories out there of people who actually are down on their luck, whatever, that couldn't help it. And those are the people that truly I feel bad for. But a lot of the people that want you to feel bad for them, that's the one that I just can't. When people say the American dream is dead, it's like, okay. Small-minded, one person said. So many opportunities. Like, I can only speak for the opportunities I had. But the stories that are out there, the success stories that are out there, the people who turned nothing into a lot, the people who... There's so many stories every day about it. And just the fact that you were born in the... Like, I know not everyone watching. What do we have? 70 people watching? 60 people watching? Not everyone watching was born in the United States. I know that. But a lot of people were born in other first world countries. Somewhere in Europe, Canada, wherever. You have the ability to do a lot. The internet today is such a privilege. The thing that I built off the internet, I never would have guessed it. When I was in college in 2011, when I was graduating high school in 2007, I never would have envisioned this world we're living in, where I can press a button on a computer and go talk to 70 people at once. And I'm a tiny speck. I'm a tiny speck, and I built this. Anyone who was born into a relatively stable household and didn't have any crazy medical things or crazy abuse things or crazy whatever, anyone could do what I did. I'm not a special person. Anyone who was born in 1990-ish, 1980 to 2000, could replicate what I did. We are so privileged as a whole to be able to have this beautiful thing called the internet. And one thing some people use it for, they go on Instagram and they go on, like, if you're scrolling YouTube shorts to bitch on some guy's YouTube short, Instagram reel, TikTok, if you're using this tool to do that, what the hell are you doing with your life? Like, what are you doing? Opus is going to go right here. Opus is going to grab this. They're going to give this #1 ranking. They're going to say, make a short out of this. People will watch it. Because if you are watching this and you are getting salty and sad and you are not using this as the tool that it is to go create a business, to go like learn, advance yourself, improve yourself, if you're using this to just make yourself miserable and push negativity out there, talking to our friend that got banned earlier, what are you doing? Like, the American dream is dead for you because you killed it for yourself. Like, your mentality, your whole thing is your worst enemy. Fix that, please. Please fix that. Oversimplification of a very big issue you don't understand. I understand it pretty well. Like, there are exceptional cases where people are, like, the American dream is dead for certain people because of extenuating circumstances outside of their control. But if you live in the United States, you have an internet connection, you have some minimal amount of support system or whatever. Like, could it all be better? Absolutely. I'm not saying we shouldn't do anything to make this all better. I'm not saying that by any means. And some people take it that way. I'm not saying everything's perfect. Yes, vote in people that you think will take life in the future to better places and all that good stuff. The American dream is not dead, though. The American dream is not dead. And I'm not talking to you, Brad. I'm talking to the entire ethos. I'm not. This is not me talking to Brad. This is me talking to my YouTube comment section. I'm literally. I have my YouTube comments here, and I'm looking at those right now. Then here's somebody saying, I was born in the 60s, and we didn't have that either. So here's someone in the comments saying the American dream was dead in the 60s. I don't know, because I hear people in my age group saying that, oh, in the 50s, 60s, they all had it great. Our grandparents screwed us all over. Like, come on. No, they didn't. Could we have been left better things? Probably. Could things be better? Probably, yes. I'm on board with that. But is the American dream dead? Is everyone hopeless? And maybe I'm understanding. Like, semantics matter. by their definition, like, what is the American dream? What is the American dream to you? Let me look up the American dream. The way that Google defines it. The ideal that every citizen of the United States should have an equal opportunity to achieve success and prosperity through hard work, determination, and initiative. Absolutely. Certain people don't have quite as much access to it. Certain people have no access to it due to horrific reasons outside their control. But like, if you want to go back and say certain decades ago had it better, like, I went into that rant in the last live. I don't need to rehash all that. But there was somebody too. This is the same guy that was saying MetaZoo was a solid investment. I never once said that. I sold it, but I never told people to invest in it. I don't tell people to invest in Pokemon unless they're in the purple bucket. Let me flash that. Unless they're over here. Then the light's green. The light's green. If you're in the purple, the lights are green. Let's see. If I put the comments on the screen, I get trashed. If I don't put the comments on the screen, I get trashed. Here we go. We got Jackson. So we got Jackson in the comments. Lots of pessimists in the comments. Being born in America alone is an extreme blessing. People take life for granted. Absolutely. So some amount of people will just say the American dream is dead. They'll spend their idle hours scrolling Instagram, scrolling TikTok, scrolling YouTube, and just pushing negativity out there. It's like, go learn something. Go improve yourself. Go drive yourself. There are people out there with less than you had doing more, using that time you're using to bitch and moan. They're using it to get ahead. They're using it to learn something. They're using it to take, like, the amount of free content out there to improve yourself. The amount of free education out there to improve yourself. Go learn something, like, and then people are just crying on the internet about, like, it's dead for you because you killed it. You're strangling it, saying it's dead. Yes, for you it is. For some percent of unfortunate people, it is also dead. Extenuating circumstance. But that's the exception, not the rule. And then there was actually some good back and forth. I don't think it's dead, but it's on the decline. Blah blah blah. We actually had some good back and forth in the comments too. But yeah, Pokey Martin in the comments. He is around still. Holy hell, this comment section is cooked. American Dream is definitely alive and doing very well. Good engagement for the algorithm though. Yes, thank you everyone in my comments, on my short, on my reel. Salty about the American Dream being alive and well. In the 60s, you could feed a family of 8 off McDonald's pay and live in a mansion. This is one thing I said in my last live stream. I am going to end soon. I know I blew through 11:30, but you guys got me going. If you want to live in the house that people lived in the 50s, when one income could pay for a whole household, I swear to you, you can do it still today. Around me, you can buy houses for like 50 grand, 60 grand. In a city that I don't want to live in. Like, I'm more out in the rural areas, in the suburbs, I guess. It is more expensive. But around me, you can buy a smaller house, smaller, efficient house. You can buy a cheap car. Maybe you can wear Avias. Maybe you can wear, maybe you can cut your spending in other areas. Maybe you can not update your smart device that you go and cry on social media about the American Dream being dead. Maybe you don't have a $1,000 phone every year. Maybe you don't have a new Kia every 2 years for $40,000. So yeah, it is what it is. People are gonna do what they're gonna do. Dang, getting demonetized after all this cussing. I can live without the $5 tops that I would get. Let's see. Let me scroll back up. Make sure I didn't miss anything else. This is not hard cider. This is just Honeycrisp apple cider. No Surgeon General's warning. No ABV percentage. This is just cider. Dan was born taller than me. Hashtag not fair. Oh, man. I was born in a low population country where Pokemon Steven sells cards. Life isn't fair. I mean, Pokemon Steven talks about his pastime. He's a regular dude, and He took not the American dream. He took the Australian dream by the horns, and he got it done. If I get dummy rich and I'm responding to YouTube short comments, please have an intervention for me. I am not dummy rich by any means. Oh man. Man, you give me Dan's height, I'm in the NBA. Ruined potential. Shaking my head. Oh man, yeah, I was not privileged enough to get the height early enough, and to be blessed with all the other athleticism and work ethic, and all that stuff. And is it more difficult than it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago? Maybe. Who cares? That's the reality you're living in. That's the hand you were dealt, we were dealt as a generation. So, like, absolutely, vote for the people. Try to affect the change. Be the change you want to see in the world. All those lovey-dovey rainbows and unicorn sayings. But, like, you still got to play the game. I didn't make the rules. You didn't make the rules. And again, I'm taking your comment. I'm not trying to talk to you. I'm not trying to yell at you at this. But I'm yelling at those YouTube short commenters. So if all you're saying is true, you still got to get through this life. Say the American dream is dead completely. Say you're stuck. You still got to do something, so you may as well try, right? You may as well try. How are these people getting out of their situations and into good situations? Somehow people are navigating it, getting through it. A lot of those people, a lot of the perpetual victims, they knew someone, they had more than I did, this, that, the other thing. They will always have an excuse. It will always be pointing outwards. The blame is out there. It will never be their own decisions, their own actions. It will never be, well, I spent every night for 5 years doom scrolling Instagram reels and commenting salty comments on content. Oh, man. Let's see. I saw that video. Oh, man. Let's see. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. I mean, I know that is such a thing that gets people going, but like actually do it to some extent. I know that it's used by certain people in a way that people really don't like, and I probably don't fully agree with either. But to some extent, it's like you got dealt the hand you're dealt. You got to play it. You got to do something. No one else is gonna. I say this a lot. No one cares about you and your future as much as you do. No one's gonna help you. No one's gonna care as much as you are. So you gotta do it for yourself to a large extent. Retro did have a lot of orders to fulfill tonight. You gotta love it. Oh man. Walrus's American dream is the 15% coup, so the American dream is clearly not dead. Oh man. I mean, actually though, supply and demand exist. You're poor, just move to the woods. To some extent, yes. You're poor. Don't try living in one of the richest metros, one of the most expensive metros in the country. Oh man, Bob and Tom. That is a classic. Love me some Bob and Tom. Oh, takes me back. Let's see. Yes, I was not going after MD Sports Card. Brad is perpetually stirring the drama pot. I was taking his line of thinking and in agreement continuing down that line. But I'm gonna end. I know yeah. I know we went off the rails there, but I'm here for it. I'm here for it. 74 people are here for it somehow. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate you watching. If you didn't make it this far, I appreciate the amount with which you interacted with the content. And I hope you had a good night. I know I did. So, yeah, I'm going to call it there. Check out PWCC. Check out eBay. Check out my DMs, email if you want to consign with me. I am signing off. Wait, where's my OBS? I don't